Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
Give salam, brother.
Put your phone on mute. We're going to go ahead and get started, brothers. Welcome to We Must First Be Brothers. We'll go ahead and get us rolling here. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Brother John, if you can check us on Facebook, and I think we should be live. I think, yes, we are live on Facebook now. And we're going to go ahead and get started, brother, with this intro. First, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness there is but one God whose proper name is Allah. We thank him for making his divine intervention in our affairs in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praise I forever do. And we thank him for his servant and divine reminder, one whom we believe to be his exalted Christ and risen Messiah, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And we thank Allah, and we can never thank he or the most honorable Elijah Muhammad enough for leaving one in our midst who is a divine leader, teacher, and guide, and who is a warner, a faithful warner and friend to Black people and really the whole of humanity. We thank Allah for his servant Messiah in our midst, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. It is with their names I greet you, with the greeting words of peace we said in the Arabic language, the language of our forefathers, Abayhi Salam Alaikum, which simply means in English, peace be unto you. Brothers, we thank you for tuning in to our broadcast tonight, another edition of We Must First Be Brothers. And we can never thank Allah enough for giving us this opportunity and this platform where we can take head on these critical issues as it pertains to Black men, our role and responsibility, and what we intend to do by the help of Almighty God Allah to address these critical issues that we're suffering in our community. We Must First Be Brothers is given to us entitled from the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. It was he that said that we must first be brothers. And so we start today our subject, the youth. And what we want to do is really explore this subject as deeply as we possibly can. So we ask that you open your mind and your hearts and let's dig in. We are living, brothers, in a time where we have to ask a serious question. And this is the question that came to mind. Who's really raising our youth? Because if we are honest, the youth are being raised by the enemy. Satan is raising our children. And the painful truth is we have failed them and then we blame them. We criticize their behavior, but we ignore the conditions that produced it. We allow language, culture, and disrespect to become normal. Language like YN, for example. We don't process the condition of their minds, the mental illness. And I would go a step further to say that it's more than mental illness, but it is spiritual illness. Because our young people are brilliant, but they are disconnected. And when the spirit is disconnected, the mind becomes vulnerable. However, I would also add that the root of the problem is much deeper. Failure among parents, among elders, among so-called leaders. That failure has become a cancer, and that cancer has spread into the ranks and the minds and hearts of our young people. Where we should be building the future, we are being sifted by the enemy. Petty differences magnified, egos inflated, divisions normalized. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said in a lecture that I recently listened to, suggested by one of my good brothers, how to settle our differences. He said, in a time of war, how can we fight if I cannot trust my brother to have my back? Because if he is infected with something petty in his heart, he cannot have my back, in words. And that is exactly where we are. We're fighting over ideas in some instances and old issues and we're losing track of the time and what must be done. The securing of our future is essential to our survival. A pertinent question that we should be asking ourselves is, why am I here? And once you answer that question, how do we further ourselves? That answer is simple. It is through our seed. We have to reestablish proper connection with our seeds. Every seed should be planted intentionally. The Black man, however, has lost power and control over our own seeds. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan pointed out to us, he said that this is the strongest generation that we have ever produced. So the question is, if this is the strongest generation, then we must understand that the aim of the enemy is to destroy such a generation. And how does he do it? How does he destroy it? He begins with the foundation. He destroys the father because the father carries the seed and the father represents order, discipline, protection, identity. And when the father is removed, the structure collapses. In the book of Revelation, it says, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman, and she being with child cried, travailing in birth. And the dragon stood before the woman to devour her child as soon as it was born. Revelation 12, 1 and 4. What are we to learn from this scripture? One thing for sure is that it's not mythology, but that it is a very prophetic message aimed directly at this time and directly at us as a people. The woman is our woman, the Black woman. She is earth. She's the womb. She's the environment. She's the key to the kingdom, as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has taught us. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad has also taught us that a nation can rise no higher than its woman. The child, on one level, in my thought process, represents all of our children, the future, our future. But for that child to come forth properly, there must be structure, there must be covering, there must be guidance. So that what does the enemy do? Pardon me. He removes the man, he weakens the father, he redefines masculinity, he criminalizes leadership, he separates the protector from the family. And now the woman is left to carry what was designed for two, male and female. The home becomes strained, the child becomes exposed. So now the prophecy makes sense. The enemy dragon positions himself to destroy the child at birth, not just physically, but mentally, spiritually, and culturally. And this is exactly what we are seeing today. The destruction of the Black father and family has created a vacuum. And whatever fills that vacuum raises the child. So if the father is absent, the system steps in, the screen steps in, the streets step in. And now instead of the father shaping identity, the enemy defines it. Let's deal with an even deeper reality, brothers. The average parent spends about 1 to 2 hours a day with their child. Think about that, bro. And only 30 to 60 minutes of that is real, intentional guidance, according to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. But that same child, think over this, brothers, is spending 7 to 9 hours a day on a screen. So again, we ask the question, who is raising our children? Because whoever has the most time vested has the most influence. Screens, iPads and iPhones and televisions now have 4 to 5 times more influence than parents. So what happens when guidance is limited? Children learn from media instead of parents. Values come from culture instead of structure. Decisions come from peers instead of principles. So again, yes, Satan is raising our children. And look at the results. Just look at these results. Suicide among Black youth has increased over 140%. It is now one of the leading causes of death. And even more alarming, our children under 13 are dying at higher rates. Our youth under pressure, severe pressure, and they have no support if we really pay attention. Health is declining. We are only 13% of the population, but nearly 40% of all new HIV cases. And among our youth, we account for nearly half. That's according to the Center for Disease Control. So now you see there's a pattern, brothers. That same age group, that same lack of guidance, that same overexposure, Satan is raising our youth. And they are the real victims. But aside from that, there's also a phenomenon that's happening. And that phenomenon is happening as a result of the presence of God. So all hope is not lost in this moment altogether. This is the moment, as the scripture calls it, the Joshua generation. In the book of Joshua, there was a generation that had to rise. And after previous generations could not enter the promised land. And we asked the question, why couldn't those previous generations enter the promised land? Because they had an old mindset. That old mind had to die. It has to die in the wilderness. And that is where we are today. We are in the wilderness experience where the old thinking, the old habits, the old divisions must die off so that the new generation can rise with clarity, discipline, and divine purpose. This is the season to establish that generation. Not weak, not lost, not broken or misguided, but powerful. And if guided properly, this will be the generation that will transform everything. But it will not happen without a fight. We have to go to war and take back the minds of our young people. The enemy will continue to raise them if we fail to do our part. And whatever raises them or raises our children will define that child. I think it's in the scripture it said, the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. And that is why we must first be brothers is so necessary. We have to forge a wall that is impenetrable, uncompromising, with love as the mortar that fills the gaps and hold us all together. Welcome, my brothers. Welcome, our listeners, to We Must First Be Brother, the youth. And so we, brothers, welcome you all and thank you all for tuning in to our program this evening. And we are in for, I believe, a very intensified discussion because this is one of the most critical areas, if not the most critical areas of responsibility that we all have. We have to pay better attention to our young people. Our young people are unaliving themselves because they have no hope and no direction. They're using drugs in an illicit way to cope with day to day life. Those of us who have been given wisdom and knowledge, we have a responsibility. And the question was asked in our lesson, what is the duty of the civilized? And that answer is the duty of the civilized is to teach the uncivilized civilization. Here we are. We must first be brothers. Let's go at it, brothers. The mic is open. And again, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Thank those who are listening in other areas for tuning in to our discussion. We are broadcasting live on Facebook. We welcome comments and engagements. We are also broadcasting live on YouTube at We Must First Be Brothers. The ad sign We Must First Be Brothers. We welcome you to tune in, and we also welcome you to comment and to participate. For those brothers who want to participate directly on this call, you can find the link on our Instagram page, in which we encourage that you follow us on Instagram at We Must First Be Brothers. Help us to build this movement and this effort for our community and our people. This is a serious effort. And as I said, I believe it is a divine purpose that is driving what we're here to do with this movement. And as our brother so beautifully elevated us, this institute, this We Must First Be Brothers Institute, our dear brother John. So, with that being said, I want to open the mic up, brother John. I know you are ready to go, and we want to just open the mic up to you, brother, and let's get it started, brothers. Let's go. Let's go.
Oh, yes, sir. I just walked in. Yes, sir, man.
Oh,
Yes, sir. Peace, brothers.
you're
Good to
looking
see
good, brother,
everybody
man.
here.
You're looking good. Perpetual
Oh, yes, sir.
35.
Everybody looking good in here. I see, even
Yes,
the ones
sir.
I can't see.
Yes, sir. They feel good, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely, bro.
Yes,
But I think this is in fact, I know this is a very important aspect of We Must First Be Brothers. We have to understand who's coming behind us. We can't be these people, these men of not wanting to teach and train our youth and giving them an opportunity to bring in new blood, fresh blood. You know, you see all these people in Congress, in the Senate, they've been there 50, 60 years. You know what I'm saying?
yes.
And most of their terms are 2 years, 4-year terms. And they will be there 60 years. What does that
Yes.
say when you're 80 years old, or you've been there since the 60s, and it's now 2026, and the world has totally changed? How are we actually, do people over 50 years old even know what the youth look like or what they're interested in?
Come on.
So I put a couple of things together so we can think about it. I'm gonna hit it hard, and then and then we're gonna run it, and we're gonna come back. So who are they? The 18 to 20 to 35-year-old Black cohorts is the largest, youngest, and most pressured segment of the Black population in 2026. Median age for the Black America is 33 to 34, younger than the national average, with this group representing roughly 25 to 30% of the 49 million Black population. They are more urban, more digitally naive, facing higher unemployment volatility. Black youth underemployment often double the national rate. Rising mental health burdens, higher rates of anxiety, depression, lower treatment access, physical health challenges, higher obesity rates, contributing to chronic conditions and economic. Do you understand when obesity rates
Come
from
on, man.
18 to 35? The Black youth, 40%. I'm gonna say that one more time. 40% of Black youth are obese. The definition for obese is 20 pounds or more. Look it up. You're 20 pounds heavier than what you're supposed to be. And that doesn't matter who you are. So AI displacement hitting entry-level cognitive roles, war inflation, squeezing thin buffers. Many are in the emerging adult phase, navigating identity, purpose, and survival without the safety nets previous generations had, or like Brother Lewis say, built for the generations. The climate that they navigate mental isolation, trauma from violence, stress, economic stress, spiritual loss of purpose amidst chaos, physical unfitness, health risks, economic job losses, inflation, wealth gap, and community safety, violence and distrust. They are digitally first, but skeptical of institutions, hungry for authentic crews, but deliver real protection and power. How do we reach them? They live on short form video platforms, TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. You alluded to that in your opening, Brother Mike. Group chats, street level spaces, barbershops, gyms, parks. They respond to raw pain, acknowledgement, plus visual quick wins, pure credibility, urgent relevance, not lectures. Reach equals meet them where the dopamine, do you understand what I'm saying? The dopamine and survival energy already flows. Then channel it into brotherhood as the practical operating system for navigating the storm. So I'm saying all that to say this here. That's just a quick, I say we're gonna hit it hard. We need right now disruptive ideas to attract and train 18 to 35-year-old youth. We can't go into this like it used to be. You know, this world is changing over and over and over. So we got to create these ciphers. We got to create, you can say ciphers, think tanks, whatever you want, but we have to create this. We have to put them in a position to where the ideas meet the youth where they are. Raw, fast, peer-driven, visible results while pulling it in older generations for depth and legacy. The attraction formula is consistent. Name the pain honestly, deliver quick brotherhood wins, enforce accountability, and show clear paths to safer, stronger communities. We have to, I pray that I quick some thought processes.
I think you're coming right out the block.
Everyone come in and bring and see something a little different to where, because it is now, brothers, it is now. They just came out today and said in December, you will be registered for the draft automatically. Yeah, people are saying, well, you had to register, you always had to register for the draft. But now they said today in the news, Google it, you will be automatically registered for the draft.
You know what, Brother John?
There you go, Brother Mike. You can go ahead.
No, I was just jumping in with you because I think there was some symmetry in some of the things that we put out here. One, you talked about mental illness. I think these are some very critical areas that we need to look at when it comes to what's going on with our young people. You talked about obesity, which is another area that is critical. Every issue that we're talking about, I mentioned the disease issues that are going on in the Black community, the health issues that are happening with our young people, which are happening really all across the board with Black people. Why are these things so important? Why are we bringing these things up? Because these are the real statistical actual fact conditions of what's going on with our young people, what's going on with Black people in general, but what's going on with our young people. And it also is evident of where we are failing. Now, this is not something we got to wait on the Democrat. We can't wait on the Republican Party to fix. We can't wait on no party. They've been partying too long, and this is why we're in the conditions that we're in.
Yes,
the conditions are because we have failed to step up and take the mantle of leadership and take over the responsibility that we have to take over. That's why I said in the opening, the Black man has lost power and control over his seed. That's a serious thing to weigh. I don't want us to miss that because, you know, when we open and we just laying a foundation for our discussion, but I don't want us to miss that critical piece right there. You are responsible as a man to carry the seed of life, the germ of life. We as men are responsible for planting that seed of life. And I mentioned that it should be intentional. It shouldn't just be busting, excuse the expression, in anything without no aim or no purpose. There should be a reason for what we do. There should be a motivation behind what we do. But here we are, we have generations of young people who have no aim and no purpose and who are being led and educated by the system. And when I say system, I'm talking about the system of our enemy. And I mentioned screen time is the reason for these specific areas, just like you mentioned obesity. That obesity is a result of serious mental issues, something wrong that causes a child to eat in a way that they shouldn't eat. It's also caused by stress and depression. You know, I mentioned a few shows, or it might have been last show, my son and I were talking about one of the young hip hop artists, and the little brother, you know, had obviously had some level of success because he was well known, but he unalived himself. You know, you got to ask the question, what's going on? They talk about the young brother NBA Youngboy and some of the music that he puts out. Much of it deals with the pain and the struggle of what young people are going through. This is something that we need to place some serious attention on. Some of us have become so Lord minded, we so above the condition, we so wise and intelligent that we have failed to just be human over the issues that are going on with our young brothers and our young sisters in the streets. We're so critical, talking about how they dress. Yeah, we know it's some craziness going on, but we're so critical that we have failed to properly diagnose the condition. And we keep pointing the finger at the condition and at the young people and not at what caused it. And I said this in the opening, but I got to repeat it because I don't want us to miss it. What caused it? And we have failed to look at our responsibility in the process. These are very, very, very important points that I don't want us to miss today in our discussion, because this is accountability here. And that's why we're talking, we must first be brothers. We got young people out here totally lost, bro. We call it crashing out now. They crashing out. Well, what is crashing out? It is a psychotic episode when you just give up and let go of everything. You don't care about any consequences whatsoever. This is what's happening with our young people today. They crashing out. Why? Because there is no parental guidance. Now, you know, some will say, well, the enemy will try to blame it on this or blame it on that. But we have to, as a people, take accountability for the whole of it. We can't just look at one situation. We got to look at the whole. I emphasize in the opening the father being taken out the equation, because I think that is the most critical attack on the Black family and the Black community and Black youth and future generations. Removing the father removed every authoritative posture that you needed to have in place in order for a child to at least have some degree of structure as that child grows up. Is no slight against the sisters, but come on now, let's do the math. If there were more men in these homes, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. And you can't just say it's about deadbeat dads and, you know, all these Hillary Clinton language. We can't use the language of our enemy to understand. We got to look at the full picture of what has happened. It has been a deliberate and an intentional attack on our family to intentionally remove Black men from having any type of say and leadership in the lives of their children. Our children look at Black men, their fathers, as suspect. They don't trust us. They don't confide in us. They don't believe in us like they should. Our young girls don't believe in us. So what do? They go find some father figure like individual in the streets. And then that father like figure individual seeking that same desire ends up manipulating and abusing. What's happening with our young boys? It's the same thing. Culture now saying, oh, it's okay to be overly feminine, to dress like a female and to turn into a homosexual. It's okay. It makes it socially acceptable. Because why? You remove the father, you remove the Black father from the scenario. So I want to dig into it, Brother Lewis. You know, I'm coming to you because today you sent us some videos, you know, and those videos were very inspirational. They always are, because I saw young men in working, I should call it workout clothes, because it is working, because they working out, knocking down buildings and building up things, you know, and it struck me in context of where we're going today in this discussion, because I see in real terms the impact that you're having on young brothers in their lives just by what you're teaching them. They're not in front of a computer screen all day long. They're not in front of they can't be and knock down buildings. They can't be in clearing land. The screen that they're dealing with is the planet. So, Brother Lewis, I want to jump right at you, brother. Brother Lewis Ali from the South. Looking good, brother, with the glasses all the way across the board. Turn your phone out. Oh, there you go. Okay, I can hear you.
Enjoyed you and Brother John's opening. I do have on shades because I
wear prescription glasses, and I switch vehicles, and the glasses are in the other vehicle. So these are prescribed. So pardon me, I'm not doing it to be hip.
Oh,
And I
you
got
cool,
one
brother.
of the young brothers with me tonight. The others are listening,
Yes.
but Jarvis is in the office with me
Okay. Good,
as we
brother
do this
Jarvis.
show. And you
Doing
can say
so.
something if you like.
How's it going?
All right. Good to see you.
So
Good to see you too.
one of the things that we got to do, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said at a believers meeting not very long ago, we have to become mentors and teachers to our people again. Every brother that's on this call or listening needs to really look at who are we consistently mentoring and teaching and training. And there are boys all over our communities, and there are girls too. So the sisters are not exempt, because a lot of these young sisters need to be taught again how to be the sweet, virtuous women that we knew. We made an error, and I keep bringing this up. We accepted a socially engineered idea that did destroy our family, Brother Michael.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm speaking of the way we were taught integration.
Mm-hmm.
We were told that if we went to white schools and put away the way of our father and ignored our black businesses and our black business infrastructure, that we would benefit from that. And when I say we, I mean the men our age are the first ones who were the victims of integration.
Mm.
And it didn't make us smarter or more morally correct than previous generations of black people. So a lot of the people our age now, they're not fit to teach the youth anything.
Mm.
They're at the strip club. They're at the bar. They're on drugs. They are the ones who, I just got to say this, have corrupted many of the youth.
Mm.
It's like we're poison.
Mm.
We're cynical and very critical of our young people, but we don't teach them much at all. And we put them down and we call them real ugly names, Brother Michael.
Yes.
So we just got to admit, when did we become disconnected from young people?
Mm.
Young people are born into this world with needs, okay? And those needs have to be fulfilled by whoever was there previously. When did we stop fulfilling the needs of young people? You mentioned something early on. You mentioned Revelations 12:4 about the woman in the book, in the Bible, who's pregnant with a child. But if you go to the 5th verse, it tells you what kind of child. It's a male man child who's destined
That's
to
right.
rule all of the nations, plural, all of the nations, plural, all of the nations with a rod of iron. And that means that his mind and his seed would be multiplied all over the planet. When you see everyone, they would reflect his energy the same way everyone is reflecting Shaitan or Satan's energy now. And this is what the devil wants to do and why he so badly wants to destroy our young people. Now, tactically speaking, if all of us get at least one young man and keep him up with us and train him, We mentioned last week about maybe we're going to see a few watermelons this summer. Well, we will. Jarvis is here with me tonight, and he's going to be helping. So young people is not just what we say, it's what we do. And we have to have something for them to do constantly and consistently. So if you don't mind, I know we just opening up, but Jarvis
Take your time, brother. Please.
He's been reading this book, and it's an excellent teaching book for our young people. And I really would like for all of us have to become more readers. None of us know enough.
That's right.
We have to become readers, and we have to re-educate ourselves. There should be no one out there in the listening audience or even on this line that doesn't read daily. We should read and study daily. Even when we're not here, we should be reading. So I have all the young people that are with me. We read before we start our work, and we read sometimes afterwards, and we read in between. Reading is mandatory because it helps us with the expansion of our imagination. And it helps us to be able to think on a higher frequency and a higher vibration than what the common Black people are fed. They are poison animal eaters. They eat what the media and those outlets put out, and it contaminates the human spirit. So I'm gonna let Brother Jarvis, and he has a book. Tell him the name of that book, Jarvis.
The name of the book is called We Must First Be Brothers.
We must first be brothers.
Praise be
And
to
so, come on in. We're gonna let him read this.
Please.
43, if you would. Now, our young people are highly intelligent. I'm going to say this with. He has a little speech deal going on, but he's working through it. So I want you to listen to what he's reading in this book, but he's sharp as a whistle. Just want to let you know that out the door, okay? So come on, Jarvis.
Point number 43, be part of the solution. Join cause that promotes and strengthens the principles of honesty and deliverance and loving brotherhood. Participating in a cause create a space to activate unity and brotherhood caused by nature, generance, substance, and character. Working towards a common goal for the betterment of the society fosters a deeper sense of brotherhood and purpose.
Oh my God! All praise is due to
Beautiful.
Allah.
Praise is due to
All
Allah.
praise is due to
Beautiful.
Allah.
Beautiful.
Now he's talking about purpose, and you wrote it, Brother Michael.
Yeah. Praise
See,
be to
really,
Allah.
our brotherhood can't last if we don't have a purpose.
That's right.
And too many of our young people are treated as if they are exempt of aim and purpose. My grandfather was a civil rights activist and was murdered. And I went to live with my grandmother when I was 9 years old, and she'd tell me stories about her husband. And from day one, she told me, she said, when you grow up, you're going to rebuild your grandfather's business. And you're going to rebuild his name and legacy. Tell this young man what he's going to build in the name of the God who came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad.
Yes.
Tell all the young people that God came in person for them to be builders of a new reality, and I guarantee you they'll build it. Too often, we're talking about what they can't do versus what they're born to do. This young man's a natural builder. I seen it in him the first time I seen him. He was down the street from the office, he and his brother. We look at young people the wrong way. We look at them as if they're a liability versus I see a blessing. I see someone young that I can pour my spirit and my energy into, teach and train them fast so that they can be not only beneficent, which me and John talked about today. So important for us to be beneficent.
Yes.
Don't anybody that tells you they can't give anything, they're mistaken or they're an outright liar.
That's right.
All men have to be beneficent. It ain't about paper money. There's something we can give these young men, and we should be quick to give young people something. Give them purpose, Brother Michael. So I'm going to stop there, and I'm ready for this conversation
Beautiful.
about the youth.
Yes. Thank you so much, Brother Lewis, and thank you, our dear beloved young brother. We appreciate your participation and your sharing, because it is the most important aspect of anything that we have to say, just to hear your voice, because you truly are the future. And that's something that you hear a lot, but it is an absolute, actual fact, 1000% truth. There is no truth greater than that reality about your value. And so what Brother Lewis is sharing with you, you can take it all the way into your heart and your soul and believe it. Don't ever doubt it, because that's a brother that truly loves you, as do we, and want to see you successful. Brother Lewis, you said something so powerful, and that was one of the things that I mentioned in the opening was identity. And identity is something that we have to be able to assess. When we look at young people today, we got to see, you see this young brother, he might be out there hustling on the block, but that just means he's an extraordinary businessman. You just need to make the conversion. You said you saw the little brother, you said he's a builder. We got to go make the conversion, and we're not making the conversion. Sometimes I think it's because of fear, and that fear caused by misunderstanding. Let me plug that in. By misunderstanding, and just the fact of lack of duty, just the fact that we have lost the connection. But we have to reconnect and take that responsibility and go chop it up with our young brother. Go speak to our young brother, and you'll find out that they're not. Then you shouldn't be afraid. You're only afraid because they're foreign to you. But we have to reconnect, and that's why I said in the beginning that we have lost connection with our seed. These are our seeds. What creature on earth, a lion? Can you imagine a lion being afraid of its own cubs? A lion not roughing up the cubs to make the cubs strong and making it ready to become hunters. What creature doesn't have a direct participation in the development of its own offsprings? This is what we have to really come to grips with. When we talk about depression is something that is caused from, as I heard the minister say, default in duty. When a child doesn't have a connection, or when we don't have a connection with who we are and what our role and responsibility is, it can cause you to start turning to a negative self-perception, and your self-worth begins to diminish. Your self-esteem begins to be lowered. It is so important that as Black men that we understand this important role of how we have to sow into our children. We got all these stop the violent movements. Well, okay, it's a beautiful sounding thing. It sounds great, and it is a great initiative. But the best way to stop the violence is by connecting properly. And you said it, Brother Lewis, when you mentioned what the minister said about each one of us having to take on and mentor young brothers. We have to reach out and touch the brothers and be available to them, and sow into them something that will make them to begin to believe in themselves all over again. If you notice, man, many of us and those of us who are in the ranks, one of the things we were taught to make all men and boys join the FOI and to train them fast and make them brave warriors. I remember when I came into this process. I remember it being a young man's movement, not to discredit anybody who was older, but I remember just being young brothers, man. And I remember the minister, having such an attracting power to the because young brothers, he loved us, and there was a place. He was giving us assignments. He was giving us something to do. He was pouring into us self-worth and militancy even. That's important, brothers. And that's one of the things that we have to reestablish. Brother Lewis, go ahead. Jump in.
Hear me?
Yeah, I can now. Okay.
That's something that really triggered a thought, because we need strong Black men to mentor our young people who are not pedophiles and homosexuals.
That's right.
Did you hear what I just said?
Yes,
I didn't
sir.
make a mistake. I'm saying it how I want you to
Yeah,
understand.
straight up.
it.
Straight up.
See, when you let homosexuals and pedophiles mentor young people, you perpetuate a type of degeneracy that it takes generations to get beyond. I heard Willie D, the rapper today, another rapper passed away, and he had some strong comments to say about this other one.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. I know you're talking about.
And we don't want to say bad things, but this pedophilia and homosexuality is part of the reason why the minister wants strong, decent, morally competent, not necessarily perfect, but you got to be morally competent. See, I won't be getting him to sell dope.
That's right.
I won't teach him how to smoke cigarettes or drink and do alcohol. See,
That's right.
You don't know what it does for a Black man, a Black boy, to have a morally competent person. I'm going to check on his homework. I check on his schoolwork. I take him to school some days. You hear what I'm saying? You don't have to be no biological father. Biological mom.
Come on.
My biological mom didn't raise me. My grandmother did.
Yeah.
I could personally share this. You know, my mom didn't grow up in such a nice environment. So my mother grew up in certain kind of homes and stuff. Somebody had to take her in. There's a lot of our people like that.
Yes.
When you're poor and somebody's poor, we don't need to take advantage of those people. We're duty bound as Muslims. Even if you see a weak Muslim, you're supposed to make a weak Muslim strong. And you don't do it by teaching them degeneracy. So that's the reason why We Must Be Brothers First is such a powerful show. You know how many men that are good men, good males, but they don't know how to be a man? They good brothers. They're good brothers, but they don't know how to be a man yet. There is a brother on here that said something 2 weeks ago. I've been thinking about it for a while. Brother Joshua mentioned that he reads these mechanical, technical journals, and it has helped him to perfect his craft. My dad's one hell of a diesel mechanic, so I grew up around diesel mechanics. I actually went to diesel mechanic school myself years ago. But the point of the matter is that if that young brother Joshua can do that, then he is suited to mentor young people in diesel mechanics. And the way you do it, and I'm just going to say it, you make every activity fun. Who wouldn't want to? Joshua tell him, hey man, you come on over to, if you don't have a garage, maybe you move to Louisiana, we'll build one, Joshua. So you have a garage, you get some young people over. This is how white boys learn. It's a hobby. I didn't learn infrastructure going to infrastructure school. I don't have a civil engineering degree. Hopefully some of these young people will get it and stamp some plans, but I know civil engineering. And I tell you this much, I volunteered and worked with some white folk who were Klansmen and kept my mouth closed so I could learn. That's how you learn. You have humility. Now, most young people have more humility than the older ones of us, but you get up under somebody's wing that you can trust, and you study under them, and you learn a skill, and you don't betray them. You don't betray them. And if they in the trucking business and they teach you the science of trucking, or if Joshua teaches you about mechanics, he got an auto body shop or a mechanic shop. In place of you waiting, you go right across the street and compete with him for customers. I teach my boys against that stupid stuff. You know, this is what got the Godfather and different people. They went to war. You may not like, this is real talk. This is how it is in the real world.
Come on.
The real world, okay? So we say, Joshua, you know mechanics? Maybe you don't have enough money. Well, let's make a deal. Find a shop. We build a shop. You get some young people in there. You start getting them familiar with just the basic tenets of automotive. You already know a gasoline runs off of fire and diesel runs off of combustion. You start teaching the principles, but you make it hip and you make it fun. And before long, these young boys, I started them from like 7 to 17 years old. Before you know it, they got a skill up under their belt. Now Zayad, he can finish grade with a dozer. He can operate equipment really good. By the time they're out of high school, they already got 2 or 3 skills under their belt. But we have to be brothers enough, and we have to have a moral compass. Look at Joshua's face. That man is a Muslim. You heard what I said? Farrakhan got us in the mosque to clean up our character and don't steal from one another. We don't deal like that. You eat together. Once a week, the brethren should eat food together. Food is a vehicle to get into the subconscious mind, which rules the conscious mind. Some of the ministers' best lectures are not necessarily over a rostrum. They're around a dinner table.
Dinner table.
So that means that we got to get to the dinner table with one another, and we talk about fun, we talk about business, we talk about love, we talk about life. I don't want my boys to be fornicators and adulterers.
That's right.
So we're talking about that now. Do they have a sexual urge? You're damn right they do. And they better not lose it either, because you're going to need that too. I'm keeping it real, Brother Mike.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. 100.
But I'd be damned if I want to tell some young black man with the stupid stuff that we were told, don't turn down nothing but your collar. What kind of stupid, retarded talk is that to tell some young boy? So you can F your... you can mess your future up.
Yes.
And get the wrong woman pregnant, and then start the dumb process over again. You should be strategic with your seed.
Yes.
Find you somebody who will help you with your vision. Don't be telling these young boys while they're in the prime of their life to go out and, what about the brother? I got granddaughters. I don't want you doing that to them. No. This is the real talk. And what's wrong with our youth? We're giving them bad information. We're hypocrites.
Yes.
When you come to these young people, you think these young boys wouldn't know it if I smoked and drank?
Come on.
And act the damn fool and at the damn strip club? You can't tell. These young people ain't scared of you.
That's right.
Ain't none of these young people afraid. Not none of the ones that's with me, for sure.
That's right.
So you have to walk your post in a perfect manner, keeping always on the alert. You have to be morally competent. We can't get away from that part of it.
That's right.
The moral competence first, and then after that, the skill and the trade. What good is it to be a good mechanic? Yeah, you're a good mechanic, but you a damn pedophile and an alcoholic.
Come on, brother.
You're a degenerate. That don't mean nothing. They got a lot of Joshua will tell you in his field, they got a lot of damn degenerates over there. Yeah. And that's the reason why you can't tap into your superpower. Because if you're a degenerate, you demagnetize yourself. What magnetizes you is being morally competent, struggling to be moral. That's what not only what attracts, but that's what bonds the youth to you. You don't bully youth. They respect you. You correct them when they're wrong, and they will listen to you if you're trying to be morally competent. But I really believe, Brother Michael, that if all of us mentored more, Joshua's not too young to mentor. There's that brother Jay. That brother is smart, and he's very highly intelligent. But the clock is ticking on all of us. So Jay has to have some young people, and Tony, they have to have young people with them. It is too often, I'm going to say this and I'm going to stop. It's too often that the fornicator and the adulterer and the degenerate is all active in promoting and reproducing themselves. Isn't that something? A dude who a fornicator and adulterer, he could be a damn drunkard, a thief, a so-called thug. He gonna be fruitful and multiply. All right. I'm saying that the good, morally competent brother needs to multiply himself so that so that there's no death for you. When you make your transition, that spirit, that energy, that way of life, that Islam that was in you will be in all the ones you taught. See, when I look at you and Brother John, I see Minister Farrakhan. That Farrakhan in you and John and Tony and what he taught and that Elijah and that Islam, that's what keeps our brotherhood together. You hear?
Absolutely.
And then look, struggling to build something. Man, building is hard. Building is hard work. Do you know what kind of respect you have? And Lord knows, pretty soon, you know, we're going to have some sisters that might come on. Absolutely. But our women they just love us so much when they see us mature enough to get past our pettiness and build something. It ain't got to, you could just go build a house for a Black woman. You build something, and in fact, stop giving your women roses. Don't buy another rose. Plant your woman some tomatoes or some mustard greens. Plant that woman some food. And you say, baby, I've been growing. I got some onions I planted the other day. Every time I walk out that door, and these are not the little chives, they're going to be big onions, okay? I point to Stephanie. I say, you see my onions?
Maybe don't gonna be some good onion sauteed.
Ain't nothing like the onions. It's something about growing some food or doing something that really Black women love us for this. And it reminds us, it reminds them so much of what Big Papa. See, don't ever talk about Big Mama without talking about Big Papa. You're making a mistake. Big Mama would have something cooked, but Big Papa grew it. Did you know that, Brother John? Big Daddy is the one who grew all the food, planted the garden, and was out there. You know, we don't have hogs, but he slopped all the hogs and he kept things going around there. And that's what made Big Mama cooperate and love him so much.
You know, Brother Lewis, you hit up on so many good points, brother. But one of the things, you know, I kind of mentioned it, you touched upon, I thought was very important, is really the hypocrisy that we have to break up. And I'm coming to you, nephew. I saw your hand up. But the hypocrisy that we have to break up amongst those who should know better, should be better examples. You know, how is it that you can be a successful Black person in business? How is it that you're a successful Black man in the community, and we're not reaching back and working with somebody young, particularly some young brother, and pouring into that young brother the benefit of your experience? You don't have to be perfect, but you should at least be pouring something back into some brother. We should count that as the real sellout and a real act of treason against your community when you fail to take what you have gained. See, when we are under the tutelage of our enemy, what he has caused us to do is to become so selfish, so vain, so all about me, that we want to ride around and show off in front of the young brother. We want to be mannequins for the young brother, for the enemy, and we are not going back. And this is why the young boys come and hit you over your head. And some of them on their way to hit you over your head because your failure to do right by them. You see, and that's why I made that comment earlier. You mentioned it, pettiness. You know, and even those of us who know better, who got supreme wisdom, we arguing over nuances. We're not sowing and dropping the wisdom down into our seeds and making sure that seed has direction and inspiration so that it will grow. You got to water that seed. You got to make sure that there's a proper light access for that seed. You got to make sure that seed is protected from weeds. You know, and this is what has to happen with our young people today. They are unprotected. I made a point, and I don't want us to miss these points because they're crucial. So I may be bringing them back in between some of our comments. But if you got the reality that less than 30 to 60% of less than 30 to 60 minutes of time being spent with parents, you know, that's something to really pay attention to, brothers. You know, The fact that if we got that little time being invested in our young people, then there's a serious, serious, serious problem that we need to fix in our community immediately. That's a state of emergency where you only 30 to 60 minutes of intimate time, impressionable time is being spent with our babies. That's bad. But there's 7 to 9 hours worth of time being contributed to screen time on iPads, iPhones. No wonder our babies is out here losing it. I mean, hell, I've been on the computer. I don't know if some of you experience it, but I've been on the computer for a little too long. I start getting a little anxious. I start feeling a little, I feel like I have a lot more self-control, but it starts to have an ill effect on me. So imagine a young mind, and they say most minds don't develop until they fully develop, the frontal lobe, until the age of 25. So think over that. So you think about the numbers that I was quoting to you, age 13, and age 13, they are at a high rate of suicide. Brothers, this is a state of emergency. This is something that we need to go hard in the paint on as Black men, and putting more of our attention on this issue, because this is why they're out in the streets banging. This is why they're crashing out. This is why they're going, because they are screaming, help me, and we refuse to help. We think Donald Trump, these devils have deceived us. Y'all so worried about Donald Trump and what the hell is going on over there. What you need to pay attention to is what's going on the block. What's happening in the street, what's happening in the hood, where your young children, our young boys and young girls are going nuts, losing it. Everybody was talking about what happened here in Houston when they were having sex in the car and people just came by and was videotaping and recording them while they was having sex in the automobile. That's small potatoes. That's small potatoes. The kind of drugs that they're using now. And then I was, riding. You can't hardly ride. You could be on the highway now and you smelling weed, but this ain't the same weed that we smoke. You know what I'm saying? Well, I smoke. I can't speak for everybody, but it ain't the same stuff. And I'm not recommending this. When I say I smoke, I'm just telling you, it's not the same it's not the same chemical compound. They have put something in these drugs and they've sprayed something on it that's causing greater and greater problems for young people. They are disconnecting. They are disconnecting from the source. Their inner being is disconnected. See, so we have to really, really pay attention to what's going on with our babies. Brother John mentioned over and again what's happening with the war and the setup for the war. And now you notice that they removed weed as a penalty. You can be high now. You can have weed in your system and they'll still allow you to be recruited. These are things we need to pay attention to. Nephew, jump on in there.
Yes, sir. First, I just wanted to say you and Brother Lewis hit on some really good points. And what I really wanted to hit on is the point about grabbing some kids to mentor. So when the call first started, I was at my high school, the East High Gym, with my kids that I mentor through a program that I work with. And these kids are like, I guess you consider them at-risk kids. Like they at home, they 100% almost live off the system. Coming out the house, might not got no socks on, might not have, had something to eat throughout the day, neglected at home, folks just don't got enough time for them. So what I realized, and I started working this job probably, I think it was September 24. And when I first got this job, I'm thinking it's going to be something like just playful. Yeah, I'm just going to be with some kids. We're going to have fun. It's going to be play. But as the man who I was trained to be, by my uncle and my dad, raised in the nation, I put a different type of impression on these kids. Like I'm not an average Black man. I have a strong self. I know who I am. I'm firm in how I speak. They can sense like this dude really kind of believe in himself. Like we'll get the plan or we'll be around whoever. Like he don't change how they can realize that. So I started to realize, so now, and the kids I work with, most of them don't have their dad in their life to the extent where he's really active. They might have a dad that they can call on the phone, but that dad may not be the dad that really want to hear from them, to be honest. So one thing I realize is that these kids are looking for an example, regardless if they are choosing to or not. That's in their nature. I need an example. So if it's not us by just going to the court or going to the gym and just seeing a couple young cats and just getting to chop it up with them, what I start to realize with just working with these kids is that I'm becoming a magnet, because I got working with these kids. It made me open up. It's making me grow more than any. It's top 3. If I can put it in my top 3 of things that are making me grow and want to be a man, is working with these kids, because it's making me realize that it's not really a lot of examples, and the mother and the father might have gotten themselves in such a situation so deep that I don't know if they're gonna come out of it. So if they keep looking at mom and dad, the cycle gonna repeat. So I'll go home and look in the mirror like, dang, these kids, they watching everything I do. They remember if I said I'm gonna come on this day, and if I don't show up, if I pull up on them a couple days later, they gonna remember. Like you said, these kids gonna know if you struggling behind closed doors, if you smoking, getting high. When I was struggling with that when I first was getting them, they not gonna know, oh, you was doing this, but they can tell you off beat. You're not all the way on point. So when I used to get around them, it would make me feel uneasy. It's like, bro, I can't keep doing this around these. It's not like I was doing it around them, but I was still in my life, and then I would try to go be with the kids and be legit, and that just don't work. Like, it don't work right. Your mind gonna be all the way off. Your speaking, your actions, everything gonna be off. You're not even gonna be in the right spirit to give them the that they need. So I just want to say, I think it's very important that, like you said, and I'm sure we may all be doing this, find a couple kids. Like I said, I'm becoming a magnet. I'll go to the gym, hoop with a couple kids, and just by me speaking to them, I have a kid come up to me that ain't never met me before, tell me his whole life story. Just because he felt like I'm the type of person that he could do that to, or just based off of how I was talking, they'll see my confidence. A lot of these kids don't got confidence. All the that's where you got all the fake fashion. Like, now I'm into fashion, but my confidence ain't built through fashion. I can lose my whole closet today, I'll still be the same person. But a lot of these kids' confidence are built through the things that they have. So you got a lot of them that are walking the hallways and put their head down. They can't look you in their eyes when you're trying to have a serious conversation with them. That's a lack of confidence. Then you got them losing confidence through losing their seed every night. Watching those videos late night. So you losing confidence by that. They don't understand that they're not supposed to be doing that that's not okay. So it's just so many things that the kids are not, they're not getting the lessons, because dude, most of the kids that are early high school, middle school, maybe late high school, they parents not too much older than me. And I grew up in the social media area. So that's the twerking parents, the parents that's the making the trap music parents, the dads that's making the trap music. Like, they kids are now the kids that's growing up in middle school, high school, and in college. This is the first era of those group of kids. So I was speaking with one of my homies that works at the school. He's a teacher now at the high school, and he has struggled with some of the students, and then he'll go home and look on Facebook, and the parents is on social media talking like the kids is. So it's like, he was like, bro, I can't even. It's like, I'm here with them for 5 hours to 7 hours, and I can only do so much, because they gonna go home and they mom and daddy on social media talking like how they do, exactly like how they do. So he was just telling me, like, bro, like, I try to, whatever impression I can leave on them, I do that. But for the most part, I know that I might not be able to hit many, like, as I want to, like, giving them the knowledge and just waking them up and try to help them understand, like, bro, this is your only life. You can't play around all day. Like, at some point, something has to get serious. So it's very important. I just had I had 6 kids with me. 2 of them are in high school. One of them is about to be in high school next year, and the other 3 are all elementary kids. These kids eating processed food all day. So it's a struggle for them to listen. The emotional part, the neglect from pops, I'm starting to see, damn, like, they calling me at this time. They asking me about these questions, and then like just the impression, even though I'm not their dad, like they giving me like signs as in like they're, how do I want to say this, like I wouldn't say I'm their father figure, but in a certain sense, they looking up to me in that sense. I don't know how to put that in the right frame.
Yes.
I don't want to take
Yes.
away from their father, but like these kids, when they see a strong young man, and when I tell them I'm gonna do something, like for them in my own life, like I'm about to go do this, I'm gonna work this fashion show. Then they see me work the fashion show, like I said before, or I'm about to go work this job and I get this money, and we gonna go do this, and I do it. They're starting to see like, wait, like this dude actually doing what he's saying. Like I said, I struggled early on with that, but I realized like with kids, they may not know everything you're doing, but they pay close attention. So like I said, they're gonna remember if I said I'm gonna come this day and I'm not there, or I said this came up and I can't come. So just dealing with these kids is making me grow as a man, and it's making me be more a man of my word and making my word bond, even though that hasn't been perfect, but it's just it's making me realize, regardless, even if I didn't have these kids in my grasp, I'm realizing just by becoming a man, I automatically have a responsibility, because it don't matter where I go, it's gonna be young kids looking at me. So
Absolutely.
there was a situation. This is the last thing I'm gonna say. There was a situation
Take your time, man.
Yeah, there was a situation where I was hooping at a park here, and young kids out there, you know what they call them, the YNs or whatever, whatnot. They out there trying to fight. I had just got to the courts. They out there trying to fight. Now it's a lot of young kids out. It's probably 60 kids on the court, but it's elementary kids out there. There's little girls out there. There's high schoolers out there, and there's grown folks my age and older than me. I'm 27, so we grown. It's folks out there older than me. These little kids that's trying to fight, they had to be about 15, 14. They pressing this one young guy that's on the court. So I step up. I'm like, nah, bro. Like, we not finna fight, bro. It's little kids out here. It's just too, like, y'all, we not finna do this here. So I step up and get to say something, and I'm looking at the older cats like, y'all, come on, bro. Like, we not about to let this happen. It's enough of us here. I don't care what they got on them, to what a point we can put some fear in these young cats to tell them, bro, y'all gotta go if y'all gonna fight, y'all gotta lead this court, because we not finna let y'all do this here. It's kids here. Man, these older cats is just not stepping up to the plate. Nobody really saying nothing. And it got to the point where these younger cats got to fighting. And it's when I say it's young kids, it's babies out there. So I had to do something that I wouldn't usually do, but I had to call the police. And I didn't want to do that, but it was just like, it's too much that can go on. These kids talking about like, I ain't gonna fight you next time I see you. So I know they got guns, straps on them. It's little babies out here, and the babies out here, what they parents, and the parents not taking them away. So that's another part of the cycle that continues. Is just when danger. I realize, man, us as Black people that's in the projects or the hood, we love everything about death, but when somebody actually dies, everything that leads up to it, we love that. But when somebody gets hurt or actually dies, then we cry. So. I just realized that it's a lot of men that are not ready to step up to the plate and for the responsibility of just growing up. And you growing up as a man, you automatically get a responsibility with kids, even if you don't got kids. You don't have kids that's gonna start looking at you. Right. I just think it's very important that we all get some kids, man, and just work with them. I get these kids. I'm not even necessarily working with the group that I worked with before, but I still get the kids. They call me. I talk to them. I go spend money on them. I bring them home to the house. They play the game. You know, we just go over life lessons. We talk about God, all type of stuff like that. So I just think it's very important, because these kids are looking for examples. And if we don't pick up on it, it's going to fall into the boss man D-Los, the NBA young boys, like we said, the Cardi B's. It's just naturally going to fall into their hands, because that's what's on TV, and that's what the kids doing. They watching TV. So I think it's really important that we pick up on these kids and just mentor them. And we don't. I'm not looking necessarily for money from this, because what comes from this is going to be bigger than money. It's going to be a built-up community, because the youth are actually getting something valuable from the elders. But that's pretty much all I wanted to say.
Nephew, you said so much, and you touched so many parts of my heart, in what you were saying, because one, I know your sincerity. Two, and that's of course my home, that you're speaking from, and that same circumstances in every major city in this country. We got young Black boys and girls who have no type of representation that is sane, consistent, honorable, moral in their lives. It's really, really, really sad. And this subject, as I was preparing, just to lay a foundation for the opening. And before I go further, I wanted any sisters listening, we want to open this discussion up. You're more than welcome to weigh in. You know what we're on. We welcome you all to participate in the discussion, because it is very important that we all put our brain and mind thrust into what we have to do to overcome what's happening with our young people. This, brothers and sisters, is way more important than our being so wrapped up in a war. You're so Trumpified. I mean, what the hell? All your energy is going out. All your attention is going out, but we're not focusing inward. And Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the Black man must turn inward. What are we doing? And Brother John mentioned it last week. We were talking about it. What are we doing to prepare for this hour, this moment right now? Nephew, you said a lot. And I hope that we were really listening to what you were saying, bro, because what you're talking about, one, is this deep need that these young people have, man, in their soul. They are crying out. They are literally, I mean, it brings me nearly to tears to think about it, because I've seen it firsthand. And hell, I've been a part of it growing up, having that need. Had I not come into this experience, I probably wouldn't be here right now, had I not come into this teaching. But you think about the fact that they have nobody to talk to when they're going through a problem. They have nobody to lay down the burden of their day-to-day life. Some of them have the responsibility of adults, but with the maturity of a child. You see, nobody to lay down their burden. No wonder suicide has become an option for children under 13. No wonder it's becoming the leading cause of death for our babies. I don't know if y'all really hearing what your brother is saying when we lay out those statistics, because sometimes we miss it. We need to really listen to what we're saying. These are our babies committing suicide. Think over that. The ultimate act of selfishness, giving up on life, man, at 13, at 12, at 18, before they reach 25. God damn it. That should trigger something deep in our mind. But we want to talk about foolery. We want to talk about silliness. We want to be on the internet having the battle of the sexes, and we ain't looking at what's being produced. We ain't looking at our children. Depressed babies around. They wilding out. These YNs, they ain't no good. We need these are your babies, man. These are your, see, in Islam we say nephew. We say we the uncle of our brother's children. We become uncle by default. That's what you're saying, nephew. It is absolutely the responsibility of a man, if he's a man, if he see a problem, to fix the problem. You can't be talking about you cleaning up your neighborhood, making your communities decent and safe places to live, and you won't start by your little next door neighbor, the little brother next door to you. You won't even go knock on the door. You see this woman, no, you go over there, knock on the door to try to get in her underwear, but you won't go knock on the door to get the little boy and bring him to you and let him sit with you. Just sitting with you. You don't even got to talk a lot. Just your presence, if you show and display some degree of masculinity and integrity as a man, a child can just look at you and benefit from being in your physical presence, even if you don't have a lot of words to say to that child. This is what we have to start thinking about, brothers and sisters, because our young people are in need. You got some of us who are so professionally dignified. We got some of us who are so religiously wise. We're so spiritually dignified and we know everything and we're too good. We have arrived. But all that's at loss, right? All that is in danger, first of all, because the enemy's world is going down. And if you attach to the enemy's world, then you're going down with it. And everything that's going down with his world is actually operating from the diameter of what he has supplied. But look, here's the point that I want to make. We have a teaching that says, what is the duty of the civilized? And then it's to teach the uncivilized civilization. And then it says, what is the punishment of one with that said ability who fails to teach the uncivilized? It said he will be punished by the lost found nation of Islam. I remember hearing from one of the wise teachers that represented our people that would rise up and punish you for your failure to serve them, to do by them what you should do. See, what's happening with you, nephew, is them young people are taking a record. And that record that they're taking is that you took what you had, the best of what you had, the resources that you had, and you poured it into them. So as they grow up in the world to help bring down, because they're born to take the world down. They're not born to negotiate. These young people are being born to take it down. They are the takeover generation. That's why the minister said this is the strongest generation that we have ever produced. These are not people not born to take over. They are born to take over. When that thing clicks, we're going to see it in a minute. You're going to see what God has produced in these babies. They're not just here to die and to not make it. They are here to take over. Honorable Elijah Mama said in that day, the executors will come. So when that happens, they're going to remember. Some of them will remember Elijah. They're going to remember Brother Lewis. Oh, yeah, Brother Lewis, he told me one day I was out on the street corner and I was about to tear up these signs. And Brother Lewis said, don't do that. This is your neighborhood. Learn to love your neighborhood. Learn to love your community. They're going to remember Elijah said, come on over here with me and sit down with me and let me tell you something good about yourself. There's others of us who sold. I've had young brothers I had one young brother, I was teaching him one day. I was at a place called the Wilkie House. I think I was in Des Moines. I'm on the staircase just doing what we do because there's no way I'm going to sit around a young brother and not pour in his head. It just can't happen. I just can't not do it. It's my responsibility. It's now so natural for me after doing it for so many years. I'm obligated to do it. But I remember sitting on the staircase with this young brother and I'm just teaching and sharing, with the young brother. And so then there went this big gap happened. I hadn't seen the brother for many, months, maybe even years. I hadn't seen him. I didn't know where it was. I just talked to him. The little brother came up to me. I ran into him again. He looked at me like I was a ghost, right? And he said, I told my mama, I thought, it still touches my heart. He said, I thought you were an angel. He said, I changed my whole life. He said, I stopped running the streets. I stopped doing this. I stopped doing all these things that I was doing to harm myself and my community. And I cleaned my life up. Young brother told me that. See, listen, that is the work and the assignment of every living Black man on earth. It's no way that we should be sitting by idly and not contributing to what's going on. You know what's happening also? Some of us who have been so bourgeois and so, pompous, your children are now being affected by the young brother in the block that you think that you can protect your children by just sending them to higher, better schools. And you got more money. They live in better homes. But your babies is out here on the block with the same cats. And you wonder why your good child who come from a so-called good household and got all of the accommodations of a good parental environment are just as wild and savage as the brothers in the streets. It's because we have failed to do the collective work in the whole of our community. Brothers, keep weighing in. Mic is open. We just want to keep the conversation going. But I think you hit on some heavy pieces, nephew. And I hope that we don't miss that, because that's the real on the ground work that needs to be done. It doesn't cost you no money to pick up a little brother. I remember I was working in a school, man, and it really hit me because I'm over the radio, I'm teaching, I'm going in the paint, black people, this, black people, that. Jump in at any time, raise your hand. I'm just gonna keep going because we ain't got time for dead air on this subject. Listen, I'm going over I'm on the radio, brothers, and I'm teaching, boom, 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 thinking I'm connected with the Black man, what's going on. I got in the schoolhouse. I was working as a family support worker. And I started working with these young boys I had the two groups in two different schools. I called them the M Squad, which is my name Muhammad, so the Muhammad Squad. And these were so-called the worst boys in the school. They kept all the trouble, but you know, they was impressed, of course, as you know, by how Brother Muhammad was able to pull them little brothers in orbit, and I had them in alignment. But these are the worst, considered the worst ones in the school. But let me get to the point. And so I remember I had to take a little boy home. This is when it really clicked how out of touch we are. Because he's in kindergarten. And I could see the little sore scabs on his body. Like, you know, I don't know what they were from necessarily, but I could just see he was not in the best of physical health. Just as Brother John, as you know how you can take that eye exam and look at him and see something was obviously off. But the teacher can't handle him. So they called Mr. Muhammad to the classroom. I go to the classroom. I squat down this little boy. First of all, I'm like, you tripping. You can't have this is why we got high rates of young boys being kicked out of school, particularly black boys being expelled from school at a high proportion, more than any other group. They're being put out of school, kicked out of school daily because they can't handle them, which is really just saying that you don't have the tools and you're trying to manage children who should be active and moving around. You want them to sit still for 8 hours in a day. That is damn insanity. That's why we got to get our children out of these devil's schools. But anyway, I go take the little boy home because we need to get to the crux of what's going on in our community, because we are freaking out of touch. And I really got some raw words. I'm just trying to be disciplined. But I took the little boy home and I walked into his door. There was no furniture anywhere in the house. I looked at the mother. She was in abject poverty. They were so poor and so destitute that I froze in my steps because I did not understand the level of poverty and destitute some of our people are really in. I'm right there in the community thinking I'm tapping in, thinking I'm touching the notes, thinking I'm teaching, thinking I got a connection. But I was given an awakening on a much deeper level with that little boy and his mother and what I saw. And there were many others like that. See, so what I'm saying is, how do we expect, if I'm a grown man, and when money problems come up on me, I'm up here praying that I don't become a stick-up kid or something, you know, when it get hard, because Shaitan will come up in your brain and try to say, well, go do this, you know, and you got to be strong and moral, as you was asking Brother Lewis. You got to have moral compass, a compass to stop you from acting out. What's stopping a young boy that high on weed? I mentioned, you know, the vaping is over 1.63 million young boys, young people, black people, young people are vaping. What kind of chemicals? What is causing a breakdown in the melanin in their body? What is going to prevent them?
It's bad right now.
It is bad.
Nephew, it's bad in the schools.
It's bad. The vaping alone is killing our children. That's why this subject is so important. But one of you were going to weigh in, brother. Jump in there. I saw you pop in. But I just think it's important for us to really look at this. I looked at the statistics. Like I said, 1.63 million young people are vaping. I was talking to a young brother in the car, you know, and he was vaping. He was telling me about his vaping. He said he dropped off on me. And I'm like, what the hell happened to him? He wasn't saying nothing. He just dropped off. The young brother was telling me this, you know. And when he dropped off, he popped back in. He told me exactly what it was. Told me he had like a melanin breakdown. Something broke down in him, and he was not able to check it because of the vaping. And he had to just bring it back together. The chemicals in the vaping alone is causing severe challenges for our young people. So this is a state of emergency. Brother Lewis, I think you were going to say something. I know we got Brother Tony on the call too. I'd love for Brother Tony to weigh in, and my brother Samson. My brother Samson.
Jay had his hand up.
Oh, Jay, go ahead, Brother Jay. And then
Joshua, I think.
Yeah, Brother. Okay. Here's Brother Kadeem just popped in. Did you want to say something, Brother Lewis? And then we'll go to Brother Jay. I didn't see his hand. I'm sorry.
Okay, Brother
I was just making you aware that Brother Jay had his hand.
Okay, Brother Jay, come on with it, brother. I'm so sorry. I didn't even
well.
see you, black man. All
It's
is well.
Good, my man. All is well. All is truly well.
All is
You know,
well.
into that last statement you said about the vape pen,
Yeah.
Minister Louis Farrakhan said on Dope with No Hope.
Man. Wow.
You know, anybody on here, this is a great topic as always. And the first thing that came to my mind, you know, everybody on here, you know, always have valuable, great insight. But Brother John and Brother Lewis, and you as well, Brother Michael, you're always the
Yes.
first speaker, trailblazers. You know, you guys really know how to set the stage. And it got me to thinking on Minister Farrakhan's self-improvement, you know, the basics for community development. You know, I had to, you know, pull that up and reference. So on page, let me see, page 9. Because I got a little bit of a different, you know, standpoint on all of this.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And that's what I respect about, you know, the good brothers here. Nobody's judgmental.
Absolutely, brother.
He said the black man is a problem. He is a problem to himself and he is a problem to others. And it's really that simple. Nur Muhammad, he said something along the lines, I'm paraphrasing a bit, that history is just a marking point to see what we are capable of. Or to know what we are capable of, something along that lines, right? So, and I got a good brother of mine that always say is enough because we don't have enough. Right? So, and when I like, just like nephew, right? Indirectly, I don't work with youth, but indirectly, you know, sometimes I'll have a youth help me out on a production set or, you know, just in passing, being by, talk to the young brother. And I say you got to meet them where they at. You really, truly got to meet them where they at, because that's going to open the grounds and the conversations up for, you know, what's your level of interest? Like, you know, I laugh with my parents now. And when I tell people the story they see and hear, you know, where I'm at now, and they can't believe it. My parents tried to send me to school to be a pilot. Not to say that that's a bad thing, but just with the level of trouble I was getting in at the time, you know, to keep me out of the mix, if you will. Afraid of heights, all that stuff. Don't know nothing about nothing, you know, when they come to being a pilot, right? But, you know, I get it now. So when I say all of that, what I'm really getting at is we lazy.
Yes.
We got to call it for what it is.
You call it, brother.
You know, a lot of us, and I'm speaking to the black men, we lazy. And when I talk to the youth, I tell them, man, knock it off.
Yes.
You can learn whatever you want to learn.
Yes.
You learn how to roll that blunt.
That's right.
Facts.
Come on.
You can tell me all
with one hand. With one hand.
While I'm driving, put my knee on the steering wheel. I can teach you the tricks of the trade to get it to burn slower. So knock it off.
Knock it off.
You know what I mean? But what I think is important for us is we got to instill that confidence in them, though, because you got to know who you are. You can't love a woman if you don't love yourself. If you don't know yourself, you can't know your brother. Because Brother Michael, you know, he may be giving you some real game, some real, you know, to set you on your way, but he a hater. Because you never learned to love yourself. You never learned that this man actually want the best for you. Right. And I tried to look the lyrics up. Anybody know me know I'm a big music guy. But I tried to look the lyrics up, and he's a mainstream, if you will, artist. But I couldn't find the lyrics. Starlito, I recommend anybody, you know, check him out. And, you know, I want to apologize in advance for some of the vulgar language, but sometimes you need it. Bro. Yeah, you need it raw sometimes. So he said, and this kind of back to the nephew point about the guns and all that, right? So he said, niggas barely use condoms, but always carrying protection. You know, I tell you, I'm out here grinding. I ain't talking love and affection. We should have started a business. Instead, we buying a section. Like, look, we standing on couches attracting bitches that's desperate. Fuck around, make a baby. The cycle just keep connecting. The music gonna keep them ignorant. That's the key to oppression.
Mm.
Don't know why I feel guilty. You make it out. It's a blessing. Message. That's how he ended the song. You know.
Wow.
So with all that being said, right? Sometimes you may need that vulgar language to get to the youth.
Absolutely. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And then
Straight
because
up.
that's going to open up the grounds for the conversation. You know, oh, brother
Yes,
Michael,
sir.
you listen to, like, I know you mentioned at the past few calls where you said you know, you listening to your son's music, etc.
Yes.
Because now you
Yes.
cool. So we got to
Yes.
redefine what's cool, because what's cool we
Yes.
do.
Yes.
And a lot of this stuff, it kind of get tied hand to hand. It's a spiraling effect of bad decision making, because many a times we don't know what we want out of life, so we just do what we see our peers do, right? So if brother Michael's you know, he got the G-Wagon or whatever is your cool, and you want to get to the how, right? And he's a developer now, you may want to be a developer. For better or for worse, that's how it worked, right?
That's right.
So
That's right.
with the youngins now, they're very materialistic, right? Which I think all of us have been at some point in time.
Yes.
Because you gotta, it's like the kingpin in the neighborhood, right? Unfortunately, he got to go sit down for 10 years for you to listen to him. That's where the youth at now. You know, I don't want to hear nothing about what you got to say if you ain't been through it. And so, I mean, we got to find a solution, because no one should be a sacrificial lamb. I'm not gonna go give them folks 10 years of my life just for you to listen to me.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? But one of the things that Brother Lewis said on one of the first calls that I joined was, as all of us get older and mature, right, we got to build something.
Build something.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say I got a little bit of a different opinion, because my mind works a little bit different. So when I'm hearing you in the opening saying that we only spending an hour or two with the kids, it's like, why?
Right. Right.
Because you haven't figured out a way to make money for yourself yet. That's
on.
all it
Come
is
on,
at the end of the day.
Come on, brother. Teach.
It ain't that you hate your kid, or you know, you just don't want to be around them. I mean, because a lot of this stuff, right? This is escapism. Going out to the club, this is just escapism. We don't know what else to do with our life. You know what I mean? That used to be my hobby, going out before I picked up a camera and tried to start other businesses. I had something to work towards because I grew up playing ball. So when the hoop dreams expired, I don't know what else to do. You know, I'm having these folks tell me you the next LeBron James. Okay, cool. That's what so even if you don't believe it for yourself, right? That's the power of the mind, the subconscious mind. Like, you know, even when you go down a rabbit hole of your spiritual belief, you know, the mysterious God, think about that. Like when you really, really think about, you know, I'm getting on my hands and knees and praying, but you don't even know who this man is. You really don't know who God is. So with that being said, you got to look at it as, damn, I can really trick myself into thinking and believing something I know nothing about.
Teach.
You know, so you can take that same philosophy, that same thought process, and use it for good. I can be the first millionaire in my family. I ain't got to be a millionaire. I can be the first business owner in my family and make, because I don't like putting a dollar amount on things. Sometimes you have to, don't get it wrong, but I can make enough money to sustain myself to where I don't got to think about sneaking and geeking. I can run a business without selling dope out the back. You know what I'm saying? Or without this and that. I can live a legit lifestyle.
Come on.
Right. But that's why I say I ain't got too much sympathy, because you can learn these TikTok dances, all this. Y'all, we got to specifically for Black men, we got to redefine manhood.
That's right.
All the silly stuff is soft. You know what I'm saying? You ready to? That's why I think a lot of them picking up guns now, because they just soft. They're afraid to be humiliated. They're afraid to get whooped on. They soft. Yes. Like the brother said, like he, you know, well, when I see you again, you know what nephew said. When I see you again, you know, you already anticipating the loss before you put your hands up. And I ain't advocating, you know, fighting or none of that. But sometimes you need that, because that's mental toughness. So go ahead, put the gloves on, get it out your system before you think about doing something crazy.
Yes.
You know, and that's just how it gotta be sometimes. But we gotta mentally get stronger as black men. That's why
Yes.
like, I personally think everything for I said this a couple weeks ago, everything fall back on us as the men. That's why the women
Yes.
don't respect. I ain't trying to hear all this stuff. Yeah, these women, this, because you soft.
So,
It's not natural for a woman to want to be in masculine energy. So when she
teach,
feel
brother.
like she got to be in masculine energy, it just may be because you're not a good leader, bruh.
Come on, bro.
You understand? You just may not be a
Mm,
good leader.
mm,
You
That's the
breaking promises
truth.
to yourself. How she could
mm.
trust you if you man, it's my last time smoking. I ain't smoking no more. I'm done. Yeah. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
You got to learn to really trust and believe in yourself. That's why it's so important. Like Brother Lewis, look at some of the dumb sayings.
Yes.
You can't take it to the grave with you. You know, I ain't never seen what they say, a Brinks truck follow her. So you taught to blow the money.
Yes.
Then the music come on. You know what I'm saying? I step
Come
up
on.
some karma, spin a check, and get it right back. It's programming. It's conditioning.
Yes.
You know, that's why it's like it's more effective to teach you your ABCs in a singing manner
Mm,
than it is to
mm,
just follow across the paper.
mm.
Right. So I mean, and that get deep just the way the brain work, but again, man, we just have to redefine what manhood is, and a
Yes.
lot of our beliefs, a lot of our studies, time management, money management, all these things go hand in hand with discipline,
Come on, man. Come on.
respect, you know. So that's like me. I send the link out. That's what I do. Every Tuesday or Thursday. I'm still not on Facebook, brother Michael.
Right.
But I know to go on Google and type in Michael Muhammad. We must
Yes,
first be
sir.
brothers. You know
Yes,
what I'm saying?
sir.
Because it's simple math, man. You know what I'm saying? It's not rocket science.
Right.
But you know, people like acting slow. You know what I'm saying? They like
Yeah.
playing a lot of
Yes.
games. You
Yes,
know what I'm
sir.
saying? You know, and a lot of times
That's
people
right.
sound smart to dummies.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna test you. I'm gonna
Yes.
send you the link on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna see how serious you are about changing your life.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, and I'm gonna
Yes.
really test you because I'm gonna send you
Mm.
that hour-long video. Then I'm gonna send you a 3-minute Vlad clip and see which one you respond to.
Yes.
And I'm gonna
Mm.
see, and I'm gonna know who I'm dealing with then. And
Mm.
I ain't gonna hate you. I'm not gonna love you no different, but I'm gonna know what capacity to deal with you in.
Mm.
You're not the
Mm.
guy to call when it's time to build.
That's right.
You the guy to
That's
call
right.
when it's time to decompress and just talk. You can let your mind relax for a minute and not really think too much. This requires
Right.
thinking. That's why I say I
Yes.
appreciate Brother Lewis. I appreciate Brother
Yeah.
John Michael because I can
Yes.
listen to the elders, the wisdom, and soak it in,
And praise be to
so
him.
that I'm
Praise.
listening to understand what the brother's saying, to
Yes.
educate myself. You know what I'm saying? Never getting too big headed or bigger than the program and thinking, what's the title tonight? Yeah, I don't need to jump on there. I already know that. Yeah, I'm
Right.
good.
Right.
Yeah, I
Right.
forgot. Yeah,
There you
what,
go.
Facts.
March
Facts.
Madness come on tonight. Yeah, I catch it next week or whatever. You know what I'm
Come
saying?
on.
Like
Come
this
on.
is a
Facts.
priority to me.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
again, it's enough.
Mm.
We
Mm.
got enough of us, man. Like
Mm.
I personally, I was talking to somebody last week. It's like, yeah, what y'all be talking about? Da, da, da. Man, hey, it just depends. Last week we was talking about watermelons. Hey, watermelons. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you don't get it. I thought that was
Yeah.
a great idea. You know what I mean? You just don't get it though, because you scared. Not only
Scared.
you scared because lack of knowledge.
Yes.
Because a lot of people, right? I call it, they got the dope man mentality.
Yes.
What's the dope man mentality? I want to spend 500 and make 1,000.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So if
Mm.
I spend 500 and I make 400 back, 500 back, that's a loss to me
Mm.
because I'm programmed and conditioned. Like I say, week after week to the social media and this, that, and the third. So I'm thinking, watermelon, ain't no money in no watermelons. I need to figure out how I can get a loan so I can go get a commercial building. And like when people talk to me, and that's the last thing I'm gonna say oftentimes, right, about business. What you waiting on? Man, I gotta get this business credit. What you need business credit for? You ain't even got no clients.
Mm. Teach.
Like, where you gonna pay? How you gonna pay the money back? You know what I'm saying? You keep listening to these fools on YouTube.
Come on, bro.
You know what I'm saying? You don't understand you being sold to you because you don't understand business. That's why you only got an hour or two with your kid a day because you don't understand you being sold to. So when you tell him shut up, watch the iPad, that's valuable time y'all could be spending together, or valuable time that you could be using to learn something while you doom scrolling.
Heavy.
You know what I'm saying? So that's really all I got to say. Like I said, I just got a little bit different standpoint because if you don't get these jokers in check, man, it's just going to continue. You know what I'm saying? It's just what you mean your mental health?
Come on.
You ain't got no bills, no responsibility. What you mean?
Come on.
Like that, I think, and I'm sorry, like if anybody only got real mental health issues,
Right.
I mean
Go ahead, brother.
from the bottom of
Everybody's
my soul,
perspective.
man.
Come on.
Like,
Yeah.
what you mean mental health issues, man?
Yes.
You ain't even lived enough yet to be having no real mental health issues. Sometimes, it may be, you know what I mean? Mom Dukes may be smoking, drinking while you in the womb. It may be something really off, but 9 times out of it, it's an escape route, man. It's an easy escape route. Because like I said, you can learn TikTok dances. I ain't gonna get too graphic, but you can read between the lines. You can learn lyrics and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's like you can't stay still for 30 minutes for an hour. You ain't gotta stay on the whole call. You can't soak up a little knowledge, bro.
Come on.
I bet you will if they tell you sit down, shut up, and do that orientation for that paycheck every 2 weeks, because you could feel like you have to. So we got to redefine what's our priorities in our lives. I personally don't think it's universal. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's a one size fits all.
Absolutely, bro.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes you may need the brother that sacrificed some of his life, you know what I mean, on the corner to really understand the bigger system, the bigger picture. Right?
Yes, sir.
But and I'll use myself, and it's the last thing I'm gonna say. I'll use myself. I'm always seeking knowledge. That's how I came across, you good brothers, because I'm always seeking knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So like my tabs, my history, it's not about Diddy. I can tell you that. It's definitely not about
Diddy.
That's
right, brother. I know that's right.
I mean, we wish the brother well, whether he did it, did he do it, did he not?
Did he not?
Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But that ain't got nothing to do with me, respectfully.
Right.
Only thing that got to do with me is example of what not to do.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, and again, these are all things that we got to begin to understand, because if you really believe in yourself, like I said, it may not be a dollar amount, but God willing, you'll get to a position of power in life. To the point where you either bossed up or get bossed around. So when you become the boss, you gotta, great power comes great responsibility.
Absolutely. Amen.
So that's all I got to say. I appreciate you, brothers, as always. Great conversation.
Mouthful, brother. Mouthful. You pierce your brother deeply, brother. Right on point. As you said, you feeding, we feeding too. I know I'm feeding, brother, and I appreciate everything that came out your mouth, brother, because it's really right on point, brother Jay. Really right on point. That's why we got to keep this thing rotating like this, because we're benefiting from each other. We're benefiting from each other's perspective, and it's okay if we got multiple perspectives. That's okay. That's all right. That's what men do. And when men come together with multiple perspectives, then after a while, we might find a crystallization. Absolutely, we find a crystallization point, and then we charge forward in whatever that is. But the main thing is every brother is bringing some wisdom to the table, and the wisdom that you just brought to this table, brother, is phenomenal. It's right on point. We got to stop making excuses. We got to stop being lazy. You know what I'm saying? We're not producing anything, so that's why we don't have time, which is the most valuable asset that we have. We don't have time with our own children, man. We losing. I think about it. I think about the time I lost. I ain't got to the point now. I mean, even though I was trying to do a good work, but it's still, no excuse. We have to really consider how valuable time is. If we don't build something, Brother Lewis, where our sons can come out or our daughters can come out and work with us, no wonder we allow them to become educated. And that's why I say your point, Brother Jay, is like dynamic. You know, we allow them to become educated, and then what do they do with their education? They go take that same education and go give it to somebody else. Use that battery of wisdom and knowledge that they have gained, and then they go and help somebody else's society. You know, Brother Joshua, thank you, Brother John. I don't want to lose you, Brother Joshua. Please forgive me, brother. Yeah,
Assalamu alaikum, brothers.
you've been sitting in the queue for a minute. Well, alaikum salam, beloved.
Yes, brothers is teaching today. Matter of fact, let me rephrase that. My brothers are teaching today.
Yes, indeed.
All praise is due to Allah.
Praise be to Allah.
You know, I don't know who may all be versed on the recent event that happened with the rapper Offset from the Migos, where he was, I guess, shot out at some venue. And I'm using that to say, you know, my heart generally, like, it aches over the tragedies and the degeneracy of our time today amongst the people in our community, let alone the degeneracy of the world with this war and everything that's been going on. It's painful to watch because, you know, we may see it on TV and social media, but it happens even in, you know, our local communities. Especially with this gun violence, everybody wants to be the tough guy. Everybody wants to be the big bad person with their name ringing all over the town for doing destructive behaviors. You know, and I've, you know, on personal accounts, you know, I've lost a brother due to gun violence. I've lost cousins to gun violence. You know, my father has been, my biological father has been doing pretty much a double life sentence. 65 years is what they gave him for gun violence. So, you know, and what I'm saying is that the question that you asked is, Brother Michael, is who is raising our youth? And I can say from personal experience, you know, when the fathers specifically have been displaced out of the home, it really leaves the home just unprotected. So it does raise that question at an alarming rate. Who is raising our youth? And unfortunately, you pretty much named it of the parents of today, which is the system, the screen, and the streets. That is what is influencing and raising the youth. And Brother Lewis had touched on this, that, you know, a lot of, especially my generation and younger, is they're suffering from a lack of aim and purpose. And I wanted to highlight on that point because, you know, one thing I've noticed that along with this aim and purpose is that a lot of my peers and younger, they lack real goals. They lack an aim and purpose. And when I say real goals, these are things that are just very like microwave success driven. Like they don't want to struggle, they don't want to suffer, they don't want to go through the pain and turmoil of bettering themselves. And a lot of their goals that they take on or is just based on if if it's a quick success. And I have to kind of push the point that failure is okay. You know, it's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to come up short as long as it's in the name of getting better. But, you know, but real failure, just being honest, is just because you did not turn yourself fully in Allah for your actions. And when we do this work of trying to better ourselves, shortcomings are necessary. During these shortcomings, you know, these mean that lessons are present for us to better ourselves. And this generation today is so allergic to making a mistake or just seeing themselves as potentially weak but need to get stronger. It is that, you know, for me, when I played football, I wasn't always the strongest. I wasn't always the fastest. You know, when I first got in, everybody had years of experience over me. And they had many, many, many touches where they were used to hitting each other. They were used to the craft and the nature of the sport, whereas I was just getting into it. But I was okay with my infant stage in the game of football. But it's that okay with failing and not overcoming or not being super successful in my first couple years that it made me hungry to want to keep on working, to keep on fighting, to get stronger, get faster, and become one of the elites on the football field. And so shortcomings are definitely necessary. The scripture says the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, but for those who can endure.
That's right.
And the endurance is definitely, is a key to our, to us being successful and to be able to even pass down what is given to us, that knowledge to our youth. And failure, struggle, and pain are going to be present in that transition of evolution.
Yes,
But
sir.
it's okay. We just got to keep going and just get better. Brother Michael, you had mentioned that we are losing power over our seeds, and then you highlighted with the power loss that we're suffering from. Who has gained this power? Because if we lose it, someone else had to pick it up and run with it. And you said the systems, the screen, and the streets. The system. I've seen firsthand what Child Protective Services do. They're not protecting the child. They're
That's
protecting
right.
their services. This school. This school is not educating us to do for self. They're not educating us to be just educated or high intellectual beings. They're educating us they're actually just training us to work for them. And then you have these
Teach.
government agencies, that how many I grew up, truthfully, my mom did the best she could. May Allah be pleased with her. But we did
Yes.
grow up on government assistance. We
Yes.
grew up with food stamps. So a lot of times I did see when there was a dispute between my stepfather and my mom, a lot of times the necessity to have him in the home was not so needed, unfortunately, because the government is weighing in on something as simple as our food. You know, Dad doesn't really have to bring the food home because Uncle Sam is doing it. So it misplaces his value. And unfortunately, he's fighting a very uphill battle. We have these social media trends. The screen is training our children. I'm seeing adults my age with children getting on, I'm not taking a shot to say it's not okay to have fun with your children, to build and to, just have a sense of companionship and camaraderie with children. But it's like we are real goofballs on this internet doing all these trends and TikTok dances just so we can be cool in the name of the youth, or still trying to hold on to our youth, aka ignorant ways, because there's nothing really youthful about it. And then, influences that we need to, and unfortunately, you also mentioned that the streets is what's raising us, and these influences are breaking our vital principles, such as our belief in God, our chastity amongst men and women,
Facts.
and our
Yes.
charity to one another, and then our integrity. Because we understand. If you don't stand for anything, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
That's
And
right.
this is what the streets would do. Like I've seen firsthand where someone, they're dealing drugs to pregnant women, not
Man,
understanding the psychosis that they're pushing into to these communities and what kind of children they're going to inevitably be raising. I went to school, my parents would tell me stories. Where I'm from in Indianapolis, it's a very, very small community. So 9 times out of 10, your parents probably went to school with your classmates' parents. And so you'll get the whole backstory on, yeah, such and such used to deal crack to them. That kind of explains why that their child is acting this way in school. And it makes so much sense as, how this is a generational curse that keeps on going and perpetuating itself. And it's getting stronger and stronger by the day because, unfortunately, this
Absolutely.
group
Yeah.
wants microwave success. So we replace hard work, and we replace God with things that give us instant gratification. Instant. We don't want to court a woman nowadays, and go through the process of getting to know her family, courting her family, working up, even putting together a gift to where you can say, I put this hard work forward to be able to give to my future wife, to be able to build and sustain a family with, to show that I'm capable. No, we folks nowadays are just focused on hitting and quitting, which is a very degenerate, very,
Yes.
very degenerate act, because it destroys not only the woman that you have for these men that have penetrated, but it destroys yourself, because now you think every female should be that easy.
Mm.
And this again, it hurts my heart, because this is the trends. You mentioned the rapper, brother Mike, NBA Youngboy. NBA doesn't stand for National Basketball Association. In his terminology, it's never broke again.
Mm.
And he is a young boy who is doing any and everything he possibly can to be never broke again. So
Mm.
this means he's willing to trade,
Mm.
whatever virtues, principles, or
Mm.
anything that could be of righteousness for
Mm.
the love of money. These generations,
Wow.
again, their aim and purpose has become destructive and degenerative. Money is the motive. Fornication and adultery is the trend, and niggardliness is the new cool. And forgive me, I made all this a note throughout our whole conversation.
That's
But
you.
these
You
garner
cooking.
the attention that makes one feel that they are successful in life and of value. These things, the money, the fornication, and the niggardliness, makes them feel of value, or like they're successful because they're getting so much attention for it. And
Mm.
it made me think, like, what do we need to do? What can I do right now? What to help at least curve the success rate of Shaitan, as we would say, to rule in more favor of Allah, to bring more people to righteousness. It is time, and I was thinking, it's time for those of today who are tried and true to stand and show their God-given excellence. And I want to emphasize the God-given excellence that we've been given to become leaders and teachers to those in need. And us
Absolutely.
as brothers who understand we are brothers, this is why I emphasize my brothers are teaching. We need to raise our capacity and reclaim our lost found brothers.
Mm.
Because in the mosque, when a nuisance is present in the mosque, we escort them out with haste. They waste no time. No time. When
Right.
someone, decides to object against the minister or cause some type of ruckus amongst the people, we escort them out. But when there's a
Mhm.
nuisance in
Right.
our communities, we must usher them straight to Allah. We got to get them straight to Allah and give these physically and mentally sick people the proper care and medicine of righteousness. That is what we need to do. So as we escort, a nuisance out of the mosque, when we catch a nuisance in our community, we need to take them straight to God, truthfully.
Absolutely. Truthfully.
And so my last point is that AI, there's a lot of great things that are coming out with AI and development. I absolutely, I love it. I use it nearly every day. Truthfully, it's an application that I use, and I'm learning and building the skill with it. But I've seen in some cases where it's becoming a shortcut for people. I put in my note here that AI is becoming the justifier and the judge for the disputes, studies, and morals of our youth. I was in a
Mm.
conversation the other day with a brother, and I we was he was asking me a question about why we consider um, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad to be, excuse me, I'm trying to remember, to be the exalted Christ
Mm.
at one point in time, which he is now raised to an even higher position than that.
Right.
And he wanted me to chat GPT it, and then he also asked. I saw a video where the Ayatollah of Iran had also mentioned that he had an interesting reverence about the black people in America and their suffering as one of the reasons why he doesn't just pursue a attack or retaliation amongst the people in America. And he wanted me to chat GPT it for him. I'm like, beloved, all due respect, chat GPT it's a good source, but a lot of this information, I urge you to go find a book.
Absolutely.
Go. I know it sounds old school, and he's not. I'm 29. I'll be 30 this year. He's in his 20s, it's not that much of an age gap. Brother, go read. I read every day. And so I
Yeah,
think we need to be pushing more of the, yes, with AI, we should be trying to get ahead in the future, but do not forget that, what got us here to this point was our ancestors, our parents, the minister, everybody opening
right.
that book. Hence, we are here
Absolutely.
because we're reading a book. We must first be brothers. So there is still something sacred about these books that we have that we
Absolutely.
must hold on to and continue to acknowledge and use.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. That is it for me. Assalamu alaikum.
The Joshua generation. There we have it, folks. That's exactly what we own, brother. Thank you so much, brother Joshua. Right on point. I mean, like hit every note, brother, and we appreciate it because see, this is the level of consciousness that we have to have, and I love how you gave solution and what you're saying. I think we got brother Leon coming up, but I wanted to just make a couple of announcements before I bring brother Leon and then brother Lewis. I want to give a big shout out to brother Jamal Shabazz. This is a powerful, powerful photographer and historian. I mean, this brother is one of the great historians that is, like as a photographer, you think about and I'm a photographer. You think about things about how you capture a moment. He's been able to literally capture the history coming out of the East Coast, coming out of some of the old hip hop era, just like a legacy. If you ever get a chance to check out brother Jamal Shabazz, check him out and follow him on Instagram. Phenomenal brother. I had the opportunity of meeting, I think one time at Savior's Day, we were going digital with photography because he's a film photographer, of course, old school film photography, but transition, of course, as many into digital. I'm sure he probably still shoots with film just because of nostalgia, but just want to give a shout out to brother Maria Walker. Of course, my brother Les Wild Side in the building. I want to give a big shout out to Sister Sandra, who's also in the chat. My sister Selena White. Big love to my little sis. And Sister Amatullah, who is our assistant here with We Must First Be Brother, who be pushing us out here, brothers. I mean, much love to my sister for that. And also, I got my brother, my childhood best friend, my best friend, over hell, we must be close to 50. We getting pushing up on 50, almost 45. I know well over 45 years. Brother Ben Harvey, he's tuned in on YouTube. So we got brothers tapping in all around, and I just want to give a big shout out and some love to those because we hardly ever do, and we want you to keep spreading this around, brothers, because this discussion is one that we have to evolve from. And we certainly are not just here to have discussion, but we are moving into action step. Brother Leon, where you at, brother? Brother Leon called me this week and lit me up on the phone. And where you at, Brother Leon? I hope we didn't lose you, did we? He was definitely on the call.
Unmute yourself, Brother Leon.
Is he still? Can you see him, brother? Because I can't even see him.
Yeah, I see he needs to be unmuted. His hand is still up there.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Unmute yourself, Brother Leon.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, black man. Brother Leon, let me just say something before you get started. Brother Leon gave me a call this week, and and we were just chopping it up, as we do, because we come up out of the Midwest. Brother Leon is a hard soldier, real hard stumping soldier, brother. Good fruit. And he called me, said, Brother Mike, we started chopping up about just some of the things that we observed, what's going on around the country and whatnot. And he said, man, you need to check out this lecture from the minister, settling our differences, how to settle your differences. I said, so brother, send me the link, because we so used to maybe being on YouTube or something like that. He said, no, you got to go. And I went to the download. So I went and downloaded Brother Leon, and I appreciate it, brother, because everything you said was right on point. Although I had heard the lecture, one thing I said to him, we need to listen to things in the context of the time, and this is exactly where we are. And that's why it was a part of this discussion. I put in the title, some of that principle and some of what I was sharing, even in the intro, had something to do with that. But I just want to give a big shout out to you, Brother Leon. Good to hear you on the call, brother. Go ahead and lay it out there for us, black man.
Man, all praise is due to Allah, who appeared to us in the person of Master Farad Muhammad.
Yes,
and I eternally thank him so much as I grow in understanding of how the God has touched many lives here in the wilderness of North America. I thank Allah for his coming, and I thank Allah for his giving to us that Georgia-born black man
Yes.
who captured the mind of the people then and now. And I thank him for the star, the illuminating star, the most honorable, I'm gonna say the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yes, sir.
Those three men, and a few more men that have came into my life, and I have made a tremendous change in my thinking and how I want to live. And I just want to give the believers, whether you Jew, whether you Muslim, Christian, you know what I mean, whatever, whether you BD, GD, Vice Lord, Stone, Folk Corner Hustler,
Yeah. Come on.
Crip Blood, eight Trey Gangster Crip. Whatever your thinking is, I want to give thanks to Allah for you in this mighty work of resurrection. I want to come with a point that I was thinking about. The brothers was mentioning hip hop, so they were mentioning hip hop, and I want to take you back. I want to take the brothers, the younger brothers, back on the journey. I want to take you back to 3 men that are from the South. Willie D, Bushwick Bill, and Scarface. This album came out in 95, 96. It was called The Resurrection. On that album, a call was made on that album, and the man that called that phone was Larry Hoover. He was petitioning the youth to put down their guns and pick up a ballot, saying real gangsters go to the polls. Now, the reason why I said this, I brought this up, because in our this thing that happened to us, man, at this particular time in the Chicagoland area and in the Midwest, it happened all over the country. This one incident, you know, the Holy Quran has a surah called Al-Isra, the time. And I'm going back in the time because, you know what I'm saying, we must speak that language from the past, as our supreme wisdom has said. When they locked up 56 members in Chicago in 1995, after the Million Man March, these were brothers that set on, that were board members of the Growth and Development Organization. So my reason of bringing this up is this. Brothers went to the Fed joint, and a lot of our youth that were inside of the homes with their mothers at the time, you know what I'm saying? We are responsible for that. So when we came, a lot of us came out, didn't pick up the mantle and get back on the battlefield. A lot of us were scared because we got government time. You know what I mean? You got a man that's got 30 years in on a bid, and you know what I'm saying, what could he do? You know what I mean, at the time. You got men that get 10 years federal time coming home. So the mind is this: I want to come home and get my life straight. They're not really thinking about the resurrection work in that aspect. So, I mean, it was like when the government did that, they knew that what they were doing in the Midwest. You know what I mean? And these organizations at the time, they were going from New York, Ohio, all over the Midwest, and some parts of the West Coast. So as I'm saying this, I'm seeing this thing unfold, man. You know what I mean? So now the youth, they're taking up the manner as being gangsters, but to have no real meaning of what these organizations was built upon. So now you got youth that are confused with, I'm a GD, I'm a BD, I'm a Vice Lord, I'm a Stone, but don't know anything about organizations. So now they're acting on their own will, which I mean they become renegades. I can't sugarcoat this in no type of way, man. This is what Allah puts on my heart to say. You know what I'm saying? Because I was involved in that lifestyle as a youth.
Yes. Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? So I have to give it to you in the raw.
Yes, sir. Come with it.
When we don't come back home, you know what I'm saying? All the brothers that was gangsters and GDs and BDs, they knew law. They knew law, how they were to run themselves in the institutions, but they didn't know the law to come on and give some insight to the youth. You know what I mean? And one of the things I'm kind of upset with is this. What if you look at things, what did our first encounter come with? Our encounter with being productive as a young Black child is when we went into the barbershop. When we went into the barbershop as a young man, at the age 13, when you start going into the barbershop by yourself, it was always an older brother that would snatch you up under his wing. You know what I mean? It was cutting your hair.
Yes, sir.
Man, what do you want to do with your life? What do you want to, you know what I'm saying? You don't have that no more. This is because I'm gonna say this, and it's not to offend nobody. It's not to offend nobody, and I'm just keeping it real. Us older men, we have become afraid of the youth.
Come on.
Because we got guns. Because they got what they call them extensions. They got round clips. You know what I mean? So we don't know how to approach the situation diplomatically and talk to them in a way that they submit.
That's right.
Bro, I still keep in tune. I keep in tune with stuff that the brothers was talking about. NBA Youngboy, King Von, FBG Duck. You know what I mean? All the Chicago. I'm 53 years old. But my mind I have to take my mind there in order. How do I resurrect the dead with the final call to come at the youth? They love hip hop, man. You know what I mean? Hip hop is the expression of the youth. So you gotta know how to feed them where they at. You know what I mean? And all I'm saying is that we brothers, we building this, we must first be brothers.
Yes.
We must first come out. Come out. I'm talking to brothers. We must come out. Brothers got to come out of the barbershops.
Come on.
The deacon got to come out of the church.
Come on, bro.
The pastor got to be his feet too. The
Teach.
Jehovah's Witness got to come. You can't. I'm gonna show you something. How we religious gangbang. I was rolling one day, man. I'm new to Houston. You know what I mean? I'm rolling one day. I'm on the street called Maggie, where I used to stay at, right? I parked my car. It's early in the morning. I'm going to get my workout on. It's Sunday morning. So I parked the car. I see a Christian brother across the street. So I waved to him. How you doing, sir? The man looked at me if I had committed treason against him for saying, hello, how you doing, sir? We got to get out of that thinking, man.
Yes, sir, brother.
That thinking that, oh, I'm a Muslim, I'm a Christian, I'm better. You know what I mean? I'm better than you. You know what I mean? I got better experience in life than you because my suit is cut a different. Or I got a Lamborghini. I'm coming somewhere and I'm in a Lamborghini. I'm above you. That's bullshit.
Come
What
on.
did Minister Louis Farrakhan say? Brothers and sisters, all is vanity. Everything that you got materialistic is vanity. You have to cut materialistic bullshit games out.
That's right.
I'm sorry about the language I'm using. But I'm seeing this, brothers, is because I've been to 4 or 5 different mosques. And I'm seeing the behavior of people.
Come on.
And the behavior of people is what strikes people, man. You got brothers that's riding around in business and so on and so forth. You got brothers that's riding around in a hoopty or whatever. And the next man might have a Goodwill suit on, or you might have a suit on from Man's Warehouse or something. Does that make you better? Does the garment make you better? We struck by materialistic bullshit.
Come on.
You know what I mean? And then when you bring it to somebody, when you bring it to the brother, see, we have a thing what we call deliberate dialogue. We have Muhammad's provisional constitution, which we go by. We have all these things, and it says how to properly deal and how to properly handle people, right? But when you bring to someone, it's like it's an insult. You imagining something. See, we got to get up off that level, man. And you said when a brother is trying to establish something that you offended him by, and you don't want to walk through the steps of atonement, then you are an enemy.
Absolutely.
We got to come up off of that, man. You know what I mean? We got to come up off this situation. These things where we don't want to listen to the youth. We don't want to hear a damn thing what they got to say, inside or outside of the mosque. We have to come up. We gotta come up off that raggy bullshit, man. It's bullshit. You know,
that's right, brother.
I'm saying this the way with passion because, hey, the minister, as I have been listening and been going back in time, the ministers say that the honorable the things that solve quarrels is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings. And
That's
what
right.
he said, and what the minister said.
Yes.
So if you too big-headed to go off of what the minister said and what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, who are you?
Teach.
You can't solve nothing, man, without these men.
Come on.
We got a situation. Let's sit down and talk about it. But don't. He also said in this lecture that we've been listening to that I gave to brother Michael. He said, brothers. He said, when there's a situation and you don't think that you are guilty of anything, just sit back and put yourself and shut up and sit yourself in that brother's shoes.
Teach.
Don't say nothing. And then you will be able to judge. You have a yardstick to make a judgment by. I'm putting it into my own words, but you know what I mean? This is
Absolutely.
what I'm gathering from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
That's right.
You know what I mean? He said you gotta make the law your yardstick of how you make judgment. You know what I mean? And place this steps of atonement, the process of atonement. You know what I mean? What we got is to settle our differences. And we won't be no failures, man. Because we have to have love right now in the brotherhood for each other to survive this war of Armageddon. That's what's going on.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
You know, I don't want to say too much, take too much time, brother, but man, that's
you know what? I feel you, brother Leon. You know what I'm saying? I know exactly where you're coming from, and I appreciate the way you codifying a lot of it because you know the environment, but you're right on point, you know. And I'm gonna tell you one thing that you said that I think is important because it goes right back to something I said in the very beginning, and it's the hypocrisy. See, you know, even among those of us who have greater wisdom or been exposed to wisdom, we have to learn how to conduct ourselves in a manner to exemplify what we want to see amongst our people. So you're right. If I'm materialistic, if I think I'm better than a brother, if I walk even in the house of God, if I think I'm better than a brother, I can't listen to a brother because he don't have what I have. If a brother approaches me or whatever, and he wants to resolve something and I'm too big for him, that in and of itself is an elitist mindset. And that is a Europeanly influenced disease that corrupts brotherhood. It destroys brotherhood. And then it gives a very terrible example for our young people. I understand everything you're saying. I understand what you're saying about where you're coming from these streets. Because we come up out of them streets in the Midwest. I understand exactly what you're talking about. When they cut their head off of certain leadership in the street organizations, they cause the youth to scatter and to become, in a sense, lawless. Not that there was such perfection in those organizations, but at least you had some degree of structure in the organization. So what the enemy has done, he severed leadership. I mentioned that a little earlier too. He cut off the head of masculinity in every organization. So you had nobody calling it, nobody that could check, nobody that could hold somebody accountable. And in so doing, now you got rampant, reckless behavior with no authority. Go back to what Jay was saying, no accountability. See, so I understand exactly what you're saying, brother, and from the rawness that you're coming from, because it is bullshit. It's straight bullshit if we can't sit down and work out our problems, especially those of us who've been exposed to these teachings, because the teachings have invincible knowledge and wisdom, and it has the ability to resolve any conflict. That's the beauty of what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings have given us. We can resolve, listen, brother, in any conflict, because he's taught us root knowledge. He taught us who the enemy was. He taught us who we are. He taught us the time, and he taught us what must be done. So if a man knows who the enemy, then he can get to the root of why he behaved the way he behaved. And then when the man get past just pointing to an enemy, he can look at himself wholly and say, hold up, let me take full responsibility for my actions and fix me. I can't even blame the white man no more. We went from pointing out the enemy, then we go into, let me look at me. The man can put the lens and the light of truth on himself, then the man can self-correct. Then he can go to his brother in a right spirit. And that's what the minister said in that lecture, brother. He said, go with the right spirit to your brother. If you feel like you've offended your brother, or if you feel that your brother's offended you, he said, go sit down and talk with your brother, man. How much? This is just reasonable intelligence, man. This is what it's just common sense. And this is what young people need to see today. They need to see us exemplify this kind of dignity and self-worth. And as Brother Lewis said, morality and good character. When they see that your grown self and my grown self can sit down and we some warriors and we can sit down and chop it up and fix it, then they say, well, damn, I can do the same. The reason that they fear the young brother with the gun is because Satan is controlling their dynamic, man. You see, a Muslim don't fear nothing. And we come out the block. We don't fear nothing. When you got fear, it's an indication that Satan is your friend. You are the friend of Satan, because we know that Allah is God and beside him there is no God. And we're supposed to be courageous enough to go sit down with it. That shouldn't even be something that challenges your fear, to go sit down with your little brother on the block. Especially those of us who come from that world. We know better than that, to be sitting up like some damn cowards. We know that just like a dog can sense fear, a young brother that is in the street can sense that you are a coward off the top. You see, and so you can't come with that cowardice. You got to come with the arm of God on you, and you got to come with the love of the brotherhood in your heart. You got to come with truth in your mouth, in your tongue, and you go to your brother will receive you. Hands down, he will receive you. He will not deny you. If Mr. Farrakhan in his 80s and 90s can go and hit the streets, hit the pavement, and knock on doors, and all of the young gangsters on the block, opening up their homes, opening up their arms, wanting to take pictures, wanting to be standing next to the minister. What is it about the minister that made them attracted to him? It's love. It's 100% love. He ain't no damn coward, no punk, and we can't do that. Brother Jay said something to that effect. I understood what you were getting at, Brother Jay. You know, we got to come with some damn testicles, you know, and check this. That is one serious aspect of responsibility that we had to take. Brother Lewis, thank you, Brother Leon. Brother Lewis.
Sure.
Come in. There you go. Come in. There you go. Tighten it up.
Hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you now.
I'm fine. I'll come back after Brother Tony.
What was that, Brother Tony?
Let Brother Tony go first.
Brother Tony? Yeah, I
he
ain't
has
see
his hand up.
Brother Tony, come with it, brother. I ain't even see it. For some reason, I ain't seeing the whole screen. Come on with it, Brother Tony.
Yes, sir. I could have went after Brother Lewis. I'm never in a rush.
Yes, sir. We want to hear from you. Good to hear your voice, black man. Yes, sir.
Missed you last week, Brother Tony. We missed you.
Yeah, we missed you. So we up here long. We thirsted for the brother. So go ahead. Come on with it. We yield.
Praise be to Allah. Yeah. I checked y'all out online. I had to make a long run over that road, so I wasn't able to tune in. But I did enjoy everything. There was a couple of things that were shared tonight, and just to go over it quickly, the young brother Jay, he mentioned something that I thought was very important, because he mentioned what made the Honorable Elijah Muhammad successful, and that was that the Honorable, and he didn't put it in these words. I'm paraphrasing it, but what made the Honorable Elijah Muhammad so successful was that he incentivized working out our salvation. He made working out our salvation profitable. That's why we were so engaged in it. And Brother Mike, you mentioned Brother Leon sharing with you that book, the minister's lecture about settling our differences. And we know, looking at the history of our differences, we know that they were conflated by what Willie Lynch called those 7 amplified 11 differences among the Negro or among the slave. And we have some natural differences far as old versus young, as Brother John was mentioning, the old and the young are disconnected. We have
Right.
natural differences, male and female. We have natural differences, but some differences are artificial, as Brother Leon was mentioned, Crip and Blood, GD and Vice Lord, and Kappa and Alpha and Delta and AKA. We have artificial differences, but when we have a hyper focus on those differences rather than using those differences to complement us, like Brother John talked about the differences between the young and the old, well, those differences complement one another in a natural society. This is
Yeah.
why I always talk to the younger brothers about knowing their civic duty, because there's that saying that you mention all the time, Brother Michael: old men for counsel, young men for war. Well, the young men are the legs that the old man who with his wisdom need. But when we reconcile the two, we know that the two are supposed to naturally come together. But what we have been taught was to conflate those differences, to amplify those differences, and to make them a thing of discontent. And so now we have elders over here who don't talk to the young. We have the young over here who don't mess with the elder because they don't understand the value of that wisdom. And that handicaps both, because now the old man doesn't have his legs and the young man doesn't have his mind. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And when we don't understand civics, how our civic duty, we don't understand what our role is. Like you mentioned before, and Brother Jay was mentioning it too, and Brother Lucius mentioned it as well earlier. We have a lot of gears turning. We have a lot of gears turning, but when you have a machine and the gears are not connected, you don't make momentum. And so we have a lot of gears and we are isolated over here. We have people who are doing things over there. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We just have to bring the gears together so that this machine can make momentum. But we're not allowing the machine to make momentum, because I can't stress it enough that when they took civics out of school and our young people don't know what their civic duty is, they don't know that I'm supposed to look for you. I'm supposed to look for my big brother Michael. I'm supposed to look for my big brother Lucius. I'm supposed to look for my big brother John. I'm supposed to look for my big brother Lucius. They don't know that. And that's why when the brother Leon was talking about the brothers coming out of the penitentiary, there used to be a saying in the joint when brothers come home: each one teach one. Yeah. Because they knew that I had to instill everything that I learned into the next soldier coming up after me. And the reason why that was so important is because, and I end on this point, is look what the Savior did for us that dissolved all of our differences. He gave us training units. He didn't say nothing about an old or young FOI. Right. Because if the fruit of Islam, if Islam is our nature, then the fruit of that is God. Yeah. So there's no young or old, because God is not a respecter of person. So when we deal with what we should be dealing with, ye are all God's children of the Most High God, then what you mentioned, Brother Michael, we don't get caught up on titles. But the only reason we're getting caught up on titles is because we are devoid of our true nature. If your true nature was God, you wouldn't care if you were a mechanic or a doctor, because your nature of God is just as profound as mine. Come on. But now we have these artificial titles now that make me say I'm a big I. And if you have that title, and as you mentioned, Brother Michael, the same thing that Paul said: if I speak with the voice of angels, if I have not love, I'm nothing. So you can talk good across the podium. You can talk good on podcasts. You can talk good out there, but love is what sparks the life And that begins that process of like the womb that carries the seed of life. It begins that gestation process. And when that gestation process is starting to take place, then you know you have love there. Like Paul said, we know when we've passed from death into life because we love the brotherhood. Love is that life-giving force. If it is not there, we can have all of the revelation of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, all of the wisdom of Master Farad Muhammad, all of the teachings of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and they will avail us nothing. That's why we see the minister, as he gets in the twilight of his age, start lamenting. I've been teaching you for 30 years and you ain't produced nothing. Y'all dead as hell on both sides. He's talking about brothers and sisters, because we have sisters over here who are MGT. Listen, he didn't say nothing about military training over there. He said what? General civilization. Because when you have civilization, you have life. But if you take that life out of woman and you make her a soldier, then you have made her go against her internal force. Because her internal force is to complement, to carry, and to nurture life. And that's why the military body of men was set up as a guardrail to protect that civilization. But now look, sometimes our women go out into this world rather than realizing that the man is there as a guardrail to protect her, not as a fence to imprison her. She goes away from her protection and then she gets wounded going out there into the world. And it is not until she gets wounded that she realized that protection is necessary. But the prince of the prophets, Isaiah, what did he say? Who will rebuild the wasted cities? In the Hebrew, he uses the same word for cities that we use for nation, that which maintains and carries and sustains life. He uses that same word. So what do we say? When you teach a woman, you teach a nation. When you teach a man, you teach an individual. So the prince of the prophets, Isaiah, was talking about the same principle of restoring and protecting that. Who will rebuild a wasted city? Well, right now, that black woman represents a wasted city. And a lot of men do not, if they're not trained properly, they don't want to come in and rebuild that. They'll say, well, I didn't damage her. Them children ain't mine. Why I got to come in there and play daddy? They don't understand the awesome responsibility that we have as men, that we are obligated to step into that void. You see, my father used to say, being a man is a thankless job. You are duty bound to step into that void where another brother is not present. Whether those children are yours, whether you did the damage to that woman or not, you are duty bound. Now, the grace comes is when we have young men. We don't always put young men under that kind of burden, because a young man has to discover himself. He has to learn how to learn. Sometimes it's difficult to learn if you meet a woman and she's got multiple children. You haven't learned yourself yet. But as we get older, and we meet a woman and she has children, it's easier for us to manage her, to govern her, and to bring her into line with our program and even her children. Why? Because we now have learned how to learn. And that's what we have taken out of the school system. When we took civics out, civics teaches you how to learn, because it teaches you what everybody's purpose is. So you come in this seamless function in a flawless pace where this momentum never stops. But I just wanted to share that because the brothers put so much on our mind, and I just love everything that the brothers were sharing tonight. Salam alaikum.
Well, alaikum salam. Thank you,
as
sir.
well as the brother Josh, he was cutting up.
Cooking. That's what's the beauty of the brotherhood, man. It's assembly of the God. And I thank you so much, brother, for what you brought, because it was like putting putting the icing on the cake, brother. It's starting, and Brother Lewis is gonna put the filling in here. But you know, I appreciate it so much, brother, because you know, I mentioned in a very short, concise way that love is the mortar. Mortar, when you build and putting brick together, Brother Lewis, right? You got to have that which hold the brick together. So you can have these strong, solid brick, but you got to have something that's strong enough to keep it together and allow for nothing to penetrate it. And Brother Tony, you brought that home, and also this foolish talk that has been circulating among us about our responsibility and role as men. We have to absorb it. We have to absorb it all, and that's what makes us who we are. Brother Lewis, yes, sir. Man, beautiful, brother. Thank you so much.
You know, when Brother Tony was talking and Brother Leon was talking about rebuilding the wasted cities, little Brother Jarvis is right here by me, and I'm going to let him read what he just said about, come on, Jarvis.
Isaiah
Come on over here, Brother
6,
Jarvis.
Isaiah 6, Isaiah's commission. If you take and go down to the 8th verse, then it said, then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send, and whom will go for us? And he said, and I said, here I am, send me.
Send me.
So
send me. That's right, Brother John.
When he started talking about rebuilding the wasted cities, the brother said, here I am, Lord, send me. I said, you know where that is in the Bible? He said, yes, sir. So he pulled it up right quick, you know?
Wow.
You know, a lot of times the contention is due to the idleness. If we're busy building something, we'll discover a new love and a new respect for brotherhood again. Okay, brothers? I thoroughly enjoyed everything I heard. Last week, Brother Tony, I don't know if you heard it or not, but we had a little watermelon talk, you know? And I don't want to get real far away from it because I'm confident that we can do something together.
Absolutely.
I don't know, but y'all can think about the date of May the 11th. Maybe we'll have some kind of call where we talk to one another, or maybe we can see if we can pick a city to where we can just kind of be together and kind of map out something that perhaps we could do or talk about during the summer, doing something together. Yeah. Remember this, brothers. Minister Farrakhan said in Georgia, when he mentioned the Joshua generation, he said, you can't really truly be the Joshua generation and an integrationist at the same time. Did you hear what I said? Heavy. That's the full context of the quote. You can fact check me. He was in Atlanta. You cannot be part of the Joshua generation and be an integrationist all at the same time. God did not come in person to make us into integrationists. We're going to have to come into the reality that these young people are born to build a new reality.
That's right.
And our duty is to get them on that course and then get out the way, you know? Don't ever forget that, brothers. The brother Leon mentioned about some of the older ones going into prison. I think he said 56 of them. And by the way, I'm from the Midwest originally also, Milwaukee. When they leave and we don't have a history, we don't have a story, our young people don't have confidence. And this is why we got to get close enough to them, Brother Michael, and start working, building something for them. Rebuild what our fathers left for us. Stand on that foundation and start physically building something. Yeah. We have the spiritual and the cultural collateral already put up from our beautiful teachers, Master Fard Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and Minister Farrakhan, and so many others that have paved the way of consciousness for us. But now is the season of the we and the fourth Jesus. That's us. They're not just after Minister Farrakhan. They're after us. The devil don't like what we teach, brothers. Did you hear me?
Absolutely.
Don't you ever think, Brother Leon, that the devil likes what you teach? Brother Tony, Brother Michael, Brother John, Brother Jay, and Brother Joshua, and everyone listening. They don't like this because this can make our people stand up. And I'm confident that we can physically change the reality in most of these Black communities.
That's right.
And I know it's time, and I know it's time to do it. And
Absolutely.
God is going to bless us to do it or die trying. So
Absolutely.
thank you, Brother Michael, for creating
Thank
a
you.
platform,
Praise be
you
to
and
our
Brother John,
Praise be
in
to
bringing
our
us
Lord.
together. And besides, y'all got to come to Louisiana so y'all can meet Brother Joshua and Brother Jarvis and the A-Team.
Absolutely. Yeah, we got to come through that way. We're going to slide down there and check y'all out, brother, real soon. And Brother
May
Lewis, I
Allah
thank
bless
you.
y'all. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Wa alaikum salam. May Allah bless you as well. And just want to encourage us, brothers. You know, one of the things that we can do immediately is start tapping in with some young soldiers. You know, wherever we are, whatever city, wherever you are, wherever you live, let's start tapping in with some young brothers, man, and pouring into them. Find you 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. It don't matter. You know, just pull on them, holler at them, make a relationship, and let's start building. And then we need to bring them into what we're trying to do here, even. You know, and I agree with you, Brother Lewis. We are on our way to building something, brothers. I assure you that that's what we are on our way to doing. This is not just a conversation. These are building, and we keeping that watermelon on the table, brother, because it is absolutely necessary that we carry that out, among other things. Also, we need to, when we do start meeting together, we want to set aside some time so we can actually get to know some of our brothers' capabilities and gifts and talents, so we can know how to plug in with each other properly and respect your gift or your talent and draw from your wisdom and your knowledge. I'm learning. The more Brother Jay talk, the more I learn. I get little drops from Brother Jay. You know, I know more about Brother. I know Brother Tony. I know what my brother's capacity from just years of working with my brother Lewis. You know, and all the things I've learned. Of course, brother, I call him Al Jami. You know, Brother John. I call him Al Jami. It's a reason. I call him Brother Jami because that's an attribute of Allah, the gathering. You know, and Brother John, I haven't, as long as I've been around, Brother John, I probably met more people through Brother John than I met you through, Brother Brother John, Brother Lewis. You know what I'm saying? Brother John is the plug in terms of knowing people, and he is really good at developing relationships. See, these are powerful gifts and talents that brothers possess, and we want to plug in and tap in and respect. You know, one of the things about this platform, if you notice, I'm not hardly ever cutting brothers off. I try to let brothers get it out. Remind me of Miles Davis, what he was saying about John Coltrane when they said, you know, why you let him play so long? He said he got something to say. I'm letting him get it out. You know, every brother got something to say, and you know, so often everybody's trying to control or curtail our expression, and so it's important that we have an ability to express and take the little time that we have, because every brother is a diamond and a jewel. He has a valuable gift that he has to offer. And when we put that together, man, that's what the world is afraid of, brother. That's what the world is afraid of. But that's what's going to make us successful, is that we learn how to appreciate each other. So brotherhood is that art, that divine and ancient system of learning how to value the God that is in each and every one of us. Our young people need to see us be God. Those of us, we're part of it. You know, I was listening to Generation X, you know, no hit on none of the other brothers, but you know, Gen Xers. I was seeing this young brother actually touch my soul, man. Little brother was like, if you put the Gen Xers in the field, you know, and we all of the generations in the field, he said the Gen Xers is gonna get us up out of that joint. You know, and if you and the brother wasn't hating on the other generations, but he was saying the Gen Xers is gonna get us out. And I understood what he was saying, because we have experienced so many different variations of integrations and degradations and of society that has kind of prepared us. But there's others from every walk, brother, that we have experienced as brothers, man, and we need to build and benefit from what we all have to offer, you know, because as Brother Tony said, we got to get out of the big eyes, you know, and the little U's. Ain't no damn big eyes and little U's in the army of God. You know, the janitor will rise up and strangle you for the cause of Allah. You see what I'm saying? The cat that you thought the street sweeper in God's army is a dangerous man when it comes to defending the integrity and the body of the cause of what we stand for. Or that same street sweeper will drop wisdom on you that will save your life. It don't matter. As you said, my brother so beautifully put, you know, when you come into the class of the gods, that's why it's the class of the gods. You know, now you are in a place, brother, where your real value is based on your connection to the Most High. So we appreciate every brother, whatever your walk is. I know there's a lot of FOI on this call, brothers that are rooted in the teachings, but we welcome all of our brothers who are Christian. You got a perspective. You are conscious Christian, brother. We welcome you. You're a brother that's from the Hebrew. We welcome you. We welcome you from every walk of life. And feel comfortable speaking up and expressing yourself in this dynamic, in this area, because this is a place where you're supposed to be able to express yourself, was where we're brothers. We don't all have to see everything the same way to be brothers, you know, but where we can agree is what we build on. That's maturity. That's maturity. You look at the governments that we live under. You see this country, go over to this country, they sit and they respect the customs and the ways of that country. You know, they sit down and talk, they negotiate. They honor. Sometimes you'll see a person from one country, he'll put on the garments of a person from another country, respecting them, you know, honoring them. Don't mean that person has changed. It shows that person is mature. What the heck? We got to be mature. If I go to China and I go amongst the people of China, if I go amongst the people of Japan, if I put on if I'm in a customary meeting or something that honors their people or respect, they would appreciate when you show that you have the mind and the maturity to respect their culture. Everywhere I've gone, if you go to the Latino community and you respect the culture, watch how their hearts open up to you because you respect their culture. That's a civilized person. That's what civilized people do. That's what the minister did when he went on the World Friendship Tour. He sat amongst different cultures and he respected the cultures of the people. Mother Farrakhan danced with the people. You know, this is what a civilized human being does. Now, we should be able to do that amongst each other in our own communities. You go up in the church, we don't have to agree with everything. You know, some of us right in the mosque don't agree with everything. But the point is, we can be agreeable. What we can stand on, we stand on together, and we build on what we stand on together. And we can work out the rest as we grow, because we will grow. And so may Allah bless and keep us all. You know, let us really invest some time into our young people. That's what this call is about. Today is our youth. There's so much more on this discussion. We just opening it up. And these discussions that we've been having over the past, I think this is like our 16th, 17th show. We've been really moving. You know, it don't seem like it, but we've been grinding it out, and that's something we can be proud of in that and of itself. You know, but one thing for sure, Brother John, is, you know, like I said, we holding the line. We moving forward. Be looking forward. We will be coming to a city near you very shortly. I don't want to just talk about it. We're just gonna pop up. We're gonna tell you when it's going on, and it's gonna be going on. That's how it's gonna go. You know. But again, thank you, brothers, for tuning in. We'll be back, Allah willing. Make sure that you put your email in our chat, because we will start in a minute sending out information and correspondence. Please share this program today. Also, go to YouTube, share, brother. It's so important that you share so we can expand our reach and our connection to our other brothers and sisters, you know, who want to tune in and tap in and be a part of what we're striving to do. Brotherhood is universal. It is a divine universal principle. And so please share as many as you possibly can. And thank all of you who have been sharing, you know, what we're doing, because it is making program. We got to create our own algorithm. You know, notice that there ain't a whole lot of algorithms on the subject of brotherhood. And that's for a reason.
Right.
There's a reason for that.
Thank all the brothers that have been they're starting to donate and help brothers for us to continue this. We appreciate that too, brother.
Go ahead, say that again, Brother John. You can say that out loud. Yeah.
I was saying, thanks, brothers. We starting to have brothers donate and understanding what this really takes and time and effort, and wanting to put what what God has given them
Yes.
behind what they believe is something a worthy cause. So I really appreciate that, brothers. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. And we're gonna put up a little link, man. So if you want to send something to help us to keep it moving, you know, we doing it. We doing it out of what Allah blesses us of our own provisions, but we need to build, and we can't build without a little love here and there. So if we appreciate it, brothers, we'll put up something in the chat. We'll start putting up something where if you want to make a contribution to help us, you know, because if you notice right now we're streaming on 2 platforms, but we got the free version. But we want to get the other version where we're gonna hit like 6 platforms, and we're gonna stream live and be everywhere. You know, this is where it's at right here. This is where we're gonna reach our people. You know, this cuts down time. Yeah, we're gonna hit the ground. We're gonna be in person, but this gets us there much quicker. You know, on a Thursday night, we can reach out and touch some folks. You know, and so thank you, brothers, and may the God bless us, strengthen us, bless us to be brothers, man. Absolutely 100%. No chaser, no fakeness, no BS, nothing but the brotherhood. May Allah bless you. Thank you for tuning in, and we will be back next week, Allah willing. Peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Thanks, brothers.
Sir. Thank you.
Walaikum salam.
Wa alaikum salam.